Hello, hello. Hey, happy Monday. 715209, VA Survivor. Howdy and welcome. I hope you all had a good weekend. So today is the second half of our stabilization days, so day 6 out of 10. And I want to just get done with things on the to-do list. I spent some time over the weekend working on localization stuff. I have some things to show off here. I guess I'll say show off the updates from the weekend. But yeah, it's hard to specify exactly what's happening on any given day more than that, since there's such a variety of task types. Okie dokes. So let's start with tenets. And then I'll talk about these updates. They're not like super significant or anything. Today's June 1st, by the way. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Jeff Alton, thank you for the resub. Happy 31 months. Well, 31 months in a row, 42 months total. Great. Had a good weekend. Great weather here. Nice. Yeah, the weather here's been really good too. And we did a lot of stuff over the weekend. And it's nice to be able to walk outside and not be burnt to a crisp just yet. But in about a month, I think that's what's going to happen. Hey, Method. All right, so sustainability. This is going great. Nothing much to say here. I even worked on the weekend, but I think it was good. Breaks, yep, still going great. And then grit. Last week was surprisingly easy to get through, even though it was almost entirely localization related tasks. I had a good time solving all of the puzzles that would pop up. This week may be a little bit tougher because yeah, there's all sorts of tasks remaining on the list. Hey, Magnus. All right, so some of these updates. So tenants done. By the way, people who are here at this time have probably seen me do tenants a bunch of times by now. But the general goal is just make sure I'm on track with the things that were important to me. And the only three things that I have that are important to me really is, am I doing things sustainably? As in, could I continue to do this for a while? Am I taking breaks, which is really part of sustainability? And let me write it this way. And then what was the last one? Grit. So grit was like, not all of game dev is fun. Am I setting aside the time and energy to do the unfun stuff? And this week is the test of that. So that's why I say it's grit week here. We're going to have to go to something like, where is it? I don't know, like this item, whatever. Make a shared library. Are we doing that? If we do it, how much time does it take? Is it worth it? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, Steven. So yeah, that might be a little bit tough. Updates from the weekend. So I got done with all of, what is this? Push rejected. Okay, hold on a sec. I can't show the updates until I do that, I guess. Games, submodules, translations. Did it just work? I think it worked. Yeah. Give me a sec. Let me test this. So I want to push everything now. Hopefully this works. Pushing. Push successful. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, updates. So I went through, I updated a bunch of notes. I posted a video on Discord about this, but if I go to here, so this is one of our translation files, and it's pretty easy to understand what's going on here, which is that we have an identifier for something and then we have a string. So for example, this particular line is somewhere in our farming yarn dialog. So here, line 074, whatever. There's an identifier, that's all you need to know. And then this is the string that should be there for that identifier. And then for something like French, we'd fill this in with French instead of with English. So pretty straightforward. One of the issues you have with this is like, okay, well, where is this in the code? You can't search for tutorial man hello. That only shows up in this file and then in some other temporary files, which actually I should be deleting. Why are those there? All right, well, I'll look at that in a sec. But yeah, in order to find this, you need to search for this line. And long story short, I can now just press F12 anywhere on this block, and it brings me exactly to where I need to go. So I can do the same thing over here in a scene file. Quick game, like where does that show up? Press F12, and it shows up in two places. I can then pick, okay, I want to go to the pause menu, and there I am. And finally, with scripts.po, it's the same thing. Here we have the maximize string. Press F12 on it, brings me to exactly where it's being used. So that's cool. AI made that. It's a nice little plugin. Abby is pretty important. And happy 3-stream streak, Steven. Yeah, so this is pretty nice. I didn't really have to do much. I put this on GitHub. So if anyone wants it, it's there. I didn't try to make it usable by anybody else, but there's no reason why you couldn't adapt it for yourself, I guess. Where is it? This. So yeah, I pretty much didn't write a single line of code in this. But yep, there's the repo. I don't think many people have this as a scenario, but it's cool that we've got that now. What else did I do? Oh, I made it so that there's now an add language feature. So for example, let's say we were to run this right now, we would add German to the project. And that's it. It would just make all the files. Everything would be good. So it's nice to have one single tool for all the localization stuff. So now we got to get to merging PRs here. So let's say starting character count. Yeah, let's see if this actually gets any lower today. And then after we're done with that, let's put this here. Let's do all that stuff. Got any more quality of life added to it over the weekend? Yeah, pretty much. I was talking to my wife about this, that I feel like there are some tasks that I do. So a task might be something like all the localization work. And then there's some dangling tasks at the end. And in this case, it was like write notes about everything. I published my notes again, by the way. So notes.alerts.com is now up to date. We've got all the yarn spinner stuff in there. I modified the weblate. This part at the bottom, this gigantic section. So these are all online now, which is pretty nice. And I learned some other little things I did too. Anyway, all that dangling work though, some time needs to be spent to tackle it. And stabilization mode is a pretty good time to do it. I think the first stabilization mode might be harder than the second one, but we'll see. Hey, Leo. All right, so PRs. We've got a couple. I wonder if I should merge my work first. I probably should. Yeah, let's go start with that. I should just be able to do this. Well, I hope this week is fine. This is lay foundation for localization. There's a whole bunch of stuff that this does. There's now a one-stop tool for localizing basically everything. Godot scenes, Godot scripts, and yarn spinner dialogue. I also made, is this on my clipboard? No, it's not. I wanted to get a link to that repo. There. I also made this to allow for pressing F12 to go from a .po file to the source/scene for a string. Yeah, for the rest of that, it's pretty much just read the commit messages. All right, let's go merge this. Done. Okay, so that is merged. We got to switch back to main now. And I shouldn't have to, yeah, I shouldn't have to do anything else, I think. All right, so GSM. There we go. Done with that. Now we go merge other PRs. We have 2. So this one, move editor config to root directory. What did I write about this? You take a look at the commit I just pushed. I think it should work. I had to wipe all settings for this to work. Looks like Rider uses a mix of this computer and team shared settings. Gotta find my own settings, which apparently that's so confusing. Okay, it sounds like this is working. Yeah, it sounds like this is working. So I'm gonna just merge this because I already made the commit. Yeah, I'm gonna just merge this. And then we should pull that in. And now we should have, I'm gonna restart this too, just in case. I don't know how this works. So yeah, let's just be safe. Because I don't want to try it and then find out, oh, I should have restarted. So let's just take the hit right now. And then I want to try modifying some code and seeing if it updates. By the way, I added a little star SVG graphic here, so it's obvious which one's which, because you can't favorite projects here. It'd be kind of nice if you could. Hey, Strawn, good morning. Okay, so how do we test this? We just go to literally any C# file and then indent and try saving, and it should work. Main.cs. So we just tab this in, press save. It didn't do anything. No, come on. If I say reformat code, does it work? It does. Okay, so it's just not doing the action on save, I guess. Didn't I set it up to do that, though? Actions on save. Why is this unchecked? Why is this unchecked? Hey, Corpsey. Hey, Sorrow. Hey, Goose. Welcome, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. We all had a good singular weekend. One shared experience amongst everybody. All right, if I check this box, does this work now? So I hit save. Still no? What? Activated on explicit save. Oh, that works. I don't know what that means. Any save? I want it to do any save. How do we change that? Huh. Strange. Fan meetup this weekend went great. Did you have a bad experience, Corpsey? Or are you just saying in general? All right, I'm not certain what happened here or what's going wrong. But yeah, I still haven't gotten this to work with saving and formatting, and I had it working at some point. I thought one of these files would do it. Is it not something here? Code cleanup profile. Maybe because I moved this. Yeah. Oh, drat. Okay. Oh my God. What happened, Corpsey? I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Sounds quite rough. This probably needs to change. I don't know where you put this though. What if underscore dev? What if we just rename it to underscore dev? Probably doesn't get picked up. No, I don't think that works. Pass out from exhaustion in a comedy club? Did you fall? Like were you standing up and you passed out? Yeah, okay, yeah. Man, that is rough. Yeah. You know, there's this like famous book on sleep that I read most of it. And one of the things that they talk about is even just daylight saving time, the shift of losing 1 hour of sleep is enough to dramatically increase the rate of heart attacks or something. And then when it comes to traveling from where you did to where you were going, I mean, you're talking about a minimally, what, 5 hour to 8 hour time zone difference. It's like, yeah, it's probably just so much easier for any of these issues to happen. Hey, Magnetic Bind. For those who did not know or hear me talk about this last time, Seedborn Soldiers just launched today out of early access. It's available now. It's Magnetic Bind's game. There's a 30% discount. It's $8. Oh, did you not post a news item about version 1? Oh, you should probably post a major news update because I think that'll also help elevate it on people's feeds. Didn't post it. Are you burnt out? Launching a game is so stressful. It's just so stressful. All right, so I think maybe we delete this and then I restart this. Still trying to just figure out how this is supposed to work. Man, part of me thinks, I'm doing all this now. When I make the game after this, I'm probably going to struggle with all these same things. At least I'll have a reference. All right, does it work now? Can I go change line of code? Oh, by the way, I also consolidated the line height here. So you can see how many lines fit on the screen now. We can see 30 of them. I think that's how many we could probably see. Over here, excuse me. No, we could see 33 or 34 maybe. But whatever, they're like roughly the same. I just didn't like how spaced out everything was over here. And if I do this, we can see, yeah, like one extra line. All right, so if I hit tab and then save, it's still not working. How are you supposed to do this? There just isn't much to update. Also, I'm a little burnt out, I suppose. Yeah, hey Smurf. Life. I know, traveling to the US is stressful. Wait, no, it just ran something. What was that? Yeah, no, it's doing something here. Maybe just not when you say, okay, yeah, it's working now. Okay, whoops, I messed that up. All right, so move the dot settings file. Move / rename. Ever since we split .slnx files, this would no longer autosave for us. Do I need to export something now? Ugh. I don't want to figure this out. Does this ever point to an SLN in here? No, it doesn't. Does it say SIABT in here? No, it doesn't. Okay, we're probably fine. So I'm going to commit and push this. I did bump the version. Yeah, I think for the sake of marketing, if you were to post something like 1.0.0 is finally here, after X long years of hard work, the game has finally launched. Here's a summary of what we've done in the last few months. I hope you all enjoy. Adam Learns Live wrote this post for me. Send him money via Venmo or PayPal. And then just include the link here. You could probably just delete this stuff, actually. I think this is probably a good post. Yeah. Okay, so we have one more PR we have to do. Support customizing the theme for option items. Let's go do this. So this is something that Kevin did. Fun to start getting into the code. Made this in a way that should make it easy to customize buttons easily per sub game. Know if you have any concerns. So yeah, we have orange buttons here and blue buttons here. I think maybe we can make this a little bit more legible, but in general, it should be easy to do this. Can't use focus here because it will erase the normal texture of the button. Okay, we'll have to try this out. Hey, Farrell's Barkley. Kellis Heller, so much fun. Glad to hear it. Yeah. Yeah. I finally, so I've been talking about how I wasn't looking at sales and everything. Well, now 2 paychecks have hit my bank account. So there's really no reason not to look anymore. It's like I pretty much know what the sales numbers are. They're good. I mean, it's been 2 months, so 2 paychecks. Not really 2 months. It's been a month and a half, pretty much. So the game will continue making some money. The way that a lot of games generally work on Steam is that you have time over here and money over here, and I can't draw very well, but it'll start really high. It'll drop off pretty quickly, and then you'll run sales, and every time you run a sale, it's going to look something like this, where it'll spike back up. I mean, the baseline is probably much lower than this, but yeah, you'll hit spikes when you put it on sale, and that's pretty much it. Then eventually this graph will peter out, and you'll get some like, $20 a week or something. Summer sale soon. Yeah, I've got a 25% sale queued up for that. I think that'll help. Yeah. Okay, so let's go pull this. This is 15. GHPR. Oh, wait. Wait. Did I didn't do anything, right? Yeah, GHPR checkout 15. I wonder if I should make like a GPC for GHPR checkout. It's not that much to type. All right, so I'm going to go try this. I want to try this with mouse and with keyboard. Or a mouse and controller, I mean. And let's go over to player here. Here we go. Thank you, Charles Barkley. Thanks for the bids. Is it what you expected sales to be? Better or worse? I really didn't have an expectation, or if I did, it was so latent that I couldn't have articulated it. So yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I think it's good though. Yeah, couldn't do a 75% off because it was too cheap for Steam. Yeah, yeah, they have a minimum, or else it probably doesn't make sense for them to even process the payment. I think most payment processors, take some tiny percent and then some exact amount. And the exact amount, at least back when I looked into this, was like, 35 cents or something. So it's like if you're processing a payment for 40 cents, you're not really making any money, right? You're making 5 cents. Like, okay, I guess it's worth it. But yeah, below that, and you're losing money. Now, again, I don't know exactly what Valve's numbers are. Maybe they have some like bulk deal or whatever, but yeah, they have a floor for that. So I launched this, but it immediately caused some problem here. What happened? Node not found team container. Do I just need to click this? Possibly. Although it should be doing that automatically. Let's try running this again. Yeah, as long as I'm happy with it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think everything's fine. What is this? Project file does not exist? What? What was this forked off of? Like, I can't figure out what's going wrong here. Oh, neat. He pulled in the button graphics. I didn't realize it had. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. All right, option item.tres, farming game, subgame ID. Button theme ID. All right, I still want to look into this, but I don't understand. Do we not have the SLNX file? We don't. We just have this one. Okay, that's what's going wrong here. So I created this, I guess. All right, let's just close this. Do you want to disconnect? Yeah. Oops. I actually wanted to terminate it. Oh, well, there. I just terminated it. All right, now we got to go load this. And now everything should work. So once I'm done merging this PR, so merge Kevin's PR, still need to look at the code. Once done, make sure to open the dev SLNX file again. All right, so we're going to click play and now it should work. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to turn on the sound for this. It shouldn't have modified the sounds in any way, but we're still going to try this. Why is this not working? There we go. Okay. So we're going to see the new button colors. Oh, do we have red? Is that one of the colors? No. I wonder if I should just make red for this. Whatever. Okay, great. So let's go into this now. All right, yep. Okay, so now we ask him a question. And this is where I want to look at the button theming. Also this, I guess. Okay, looks wise, I think it's fine except for the color of the font. So let's go into option item. We have a theme for this, right? Yeah, we do have a theme for this. And then how do we set... How do we do this? I gotta think about this. Really wrap my head around Godot. Played around with it a couple weeks ago. You guys need like Pong or Flappy Bird to wrap my head around the node system. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I can probably help clarify a lot of things. For what it's worth, I think once you've messed around with it, I don't think you'll think it's too difficult or anything. It's not too bad to learn how this stuff works. Oh, did this get slightly off center? I wonder if that even matters. All right, so anyway, we have an option item T-res. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. There it is. All right, I want to open this in the theme editor. How do we do that? Ah, here it is. Yeah. So button farm. Should be a style here for the background. Normal. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So there's the color that we have for that. So that's fine. I want to change the font color. It is not customized. Problem is, I don't know what font we probably should use. I guess we can just go make this work. So this is a type. So can't I just set a type over here? Maybe I set it for this. Type variation. No. No. Where is it? Aha, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so white on this like orangish brown color is pretty readable, I'd say. White on this color is less readable. So that's button farm auto pick. Maybe just setting the font color to black is fine. Why is this not working? Why isn't that working? Oh, do we override the font color over here? No. Why isn't this having any effect? The only thing I can think is that it's not the font color. Oh, it isn't. Right. It's not on the button. It's on the rich text label. Oh, this is going to be a problem then, won't it? Because we need this thing to have a type as well. We should probably set it on the parent. I wonder if it inherits it. Where'd the theme go? Here it is. Yeah, there's no type variation here. Okay. Yeah. So if I were to customize the font color here, it should turn black now. It still didn't. Oh, because this is for a theme? Because I'm being dumb? Yeah. All right, we can customize it over here, though. Yeah. Yeah, so first of all, does black at least look good? It's not bad. I don't know what color we want to make this. But yeah, I think this is the change I'd probably make to the PR. Just don't know how we could easily do this. I think we're currently setting this on like a different node. How do we manage items? Here it is. This is what, just a node? Probably is, yeah. Hey, Ben. Isn't Unity simpler? Simpler for color stuff? I mean, I haven't used Unity in a very long time, so maybe it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think we want to set the theme on option item and then have a label override for it. I think. I'm probably just gonna ask Kevin to do that though. Yeah. All right, so I tested this out. I think the only thing I'd like to be able to do is change both button and rich text label properties by setting a single theme. Currently, where do this auto pick? Yeah. So where do we set this? Right here. Wait, no, what? We've got to choose this. Auto pick button themes. Yeah, here it is. We set this on the option view. Wait a second. So this should work. Yeah, I think the way I'm testing this is not smart. I think we delete this. This theme is already set. And then we just go manage this to add in a rich text label, right? As long as it gets inherited, I think we should be fine. Yeah, why can't we set the type variation here? Button farm auto pick. Hey, just in time. Try to web view inside my Unity game and use Cloud Code to generate HTML files as UI. It was very fast. It makes things a lot easier, and the result is good. Yeah, there are plenty of ways to do things in each game you might be making. And I think there are also some caveats about sort of how you maintain everything, like mixing in HTML. There are production games that do this. I think you've got to have some like reason for not going with the out of the box the game way of doing stuff, because then what you will run into is you won't be able to reuse like game sprites inside your HTML code without writing a translation layer for them. Anyway, they're if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not trying to convince you it's bad. I'm just saying I think it's not a like a universal solution. All right, so I want to change this to give it a different color. Although we need types for this too, don't we? Yeah, I'll just post this in a thing. I haven't put any thought into how this would be possible. What I'd like is like we set what is this option item? Option item.tres on the root of the scene. And then when on where did that go? When on button farm, like when on theme type 1, the button is orange and the text is white. When on theme type 2, the button is blue and the text is black. Right now, we don't change the font color of the label when changing the theme types between button farm and button farm auto pick. I hope that makes sense. Also, if you could rebase on main, that'd be great. Since this PR, well, maybe not since this PR, there are now 2 .slnx files on main. Checking this out forced me to open the obsolete slnx file. Problem moving forward. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Ben. I've been using this keyboard for the entire time you've been following, by the way. So yeah, let's comment this. Okay, and I should probably just ping Kevin about this later. So I'll just say afternoon, ping Kevin about the comment here. It's still, no, I know. That's why I said thanks. It's not new. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, and then delete old branch on this. So let's go back to the main branch that we have. Got to delete this stuff. Well, at least delete this, I suppose. All right, now we should be able to switch back. Index layout, huh? Just delete these. So now we're fine? Yeah, now we're fine. Okay, delete old branches. Yeah, we have a bunch of old branches over here I wanted to take a look at. Where do we have them? I think we can just click the trash button for a lot of these. Like this should be done. Delete branch. Add dialogue system, same thing. Platformer game environment, probably also delete. It says these are active. So now there should be nothing active. Yeah, good. All right, this is something for later. So let's put this on the list. Let's put this somewhere toward the bottom of the list. All right, we are going to work from top to bottom, not tackling everything exactly, but like this, for example. These are the kinds of little stabilization tasks that they're not fun. This is not particularly difficult at the same time, but I think I have a tools directory here. I don't. Where did I put rip grab? Okay, there. Hang on a second. Let me take a look at something off screen. Butler and Steam. I don't know. I don't know where I put anything on my machine. Tools. Huh. Okay, I guess I'll put it in the bin folder. Yeah, I want the Godot PCK Explorer in here. So let's copy this. And then I want to rename it to something better. Yeah, just that's fine. Wait, what? It's a folder. Why is it asking me about the extension when I do this? Okay. And then how do you run this? I don't remember how to do this. PCK Explorer. Yeah, here it is. .NET, whatever. Whatever. Should I make a readme or something? No, I think it's fine. All right, there, whatever, done. All right, so add offers. Do we have an offers list for this? I guess this sort of thing wouldn't necessarily be private, but I don't know where I've been saving this stuff. I had some localization file for Skeleseller. You can find that through the project on here. Skeleseller, overview, instructions. Did I have an offers tab just for developers? Instructions, no, not really. All right, I don't know where I'm gonna write this. I guess I'll just put this on my afternoon list for tomorrow. All right, what's next? If you tab a random line, it won't auto format. That's fixed now. If you make changes to the contents of the submodule, it'll show the submodule. Yeah, I guess I'll write this down over here. Submodule. I don't have anything for this yet. We have one-liner notes, right? Yeah. So submodules. If you change the contents of a submodule, Rider will show both the content change and the like submodule pointer changing all at once. Is there a way to do this otherwise? Like how would I test this? Let's say we just go into this file. All right, we're in the wrong. That's written down. I didn't do anything about it. Now let's try this again. Oh, interesting. The color of this changes based on the icon color. Oh, you see this splash of orangish up here? It's because of the icon, I think. Huh. It's kind of interesting. Also not meaningful at all, but all right, let's delete these. And then go into scenes.pl. I'm gonna just make any random change. So there, I typed a dash. Now we see a change here and over here. How would we see this if we were just over here and did get status? There's probably like a, oh. Modified but untracked. There's probably a way to do get status with submodules. Submodule. Ignore submodules. That's not on by default, is it? I don't know. I don't know. I think VS Code did things differently here. Ignore changes to submodules and looking. When can either be none, untracked, dirty, or all, which is the default. Oh, all. So I have to set it to none. Ignore submodules equals none. Equals all. Oh, I see. Wait, what? Isn't that wrong then? Can either be none, untracked, dirty, or all, which is the default. Well, wouldn't this suggest that all is the default? It doesn't look like that's what's happening. All right, I don't know. I don't care. I don't even think this is worth writing. I'm never going to read this again. Yeah. There. All right, credits bug. Open credits, expand all sections, close credits, open credits. Expected you can scroll. Actually, you can't scroll until you folded or unfolded a section again. Being untracked, dirty, or all is default. Yeah, just rolls the dice. All right, let's go take a look at where this bug is. Oh, what? Why do we have all these file changes now? Why does this keep showing up? Something's bad there. I don't know why these keep reappearing. I want them gone forever. Oh, come on. Are they going to keep getting recreated? Do I have another? I don't know what's going on there. All right, let's go check this out. So this bug is right on the title screen. It's very straightforward to repro. There we go. Okay, so credits. We expand all of these. We close the credits. We open the credits, and now you can't scroll. So let's go find out what sets scrolling behavior here. Game credits. Here we go. Scroll. We presumably set the extent somewhere. We don't. Visibility changes down here. Good old crashed. Oh, by the way, I want to share the new logo sketches that Quickie Joe did. But first, let me go back over to credits. So we have this scroll container. I'm going to just play this. It's collapsing and reopening one. Fix it? It does fix it. But I don't understand why a scroll container would reset its scroll value in the middle. So like I do this, I open this up. Yeah, now if I collapse and reopen, it's totally fine. So what is going on here? Scroll container. There should only be one scroll container. There are 4. Why are there 4? Credits, panel, scroll. Here we go. All right, what do we got? Custom minimum size is 275. It's not visible on screen right now, though. Oh, no, it is visible. It's the stuff underneath it that isn't visible. There's a margin container under here. I'm a little bit confused. Oh, no, it is visible on screen. Yeah, the problem is that something's not set correctly. We need to update something here. What if I just change this? That didn't do anything. I should probably just Google this. Godot's scroll container not showing scroll bar after changing visibility. Not show the scroll bar when applied a theme that changes it. Must have a content margin, expand margin set. Is there a way to just call update on this or something? There's get v scroll bar. And then from here, no, you can just set padding. Well, it is a scroll bar. I guess maybe we have something in here for it. Nope. Nope. Huh. This has got to be some like weird sizing problem. I guess let's just put a breakpoint in this function and go take a look. Because yeah, I don't know what's going on. I bet AI could have fixed this faster than I could fix this. This needs to be changed at some point. All right, so we click this. It's gonna break in. I don't actually care about it right now. Then I click all these things. Then I click close. It'll break in again. I don't care. But then when I reopen it, there. So now we should have access to the scroll container. There we go. So this dot get v scroll bar. Get v scroll is 183. Get v scroll bar gives us the scroll bar, which has its value set to 183. Its size set to 360. So this thing's size is 360 right now. Then I hit play, and then we just collapse and expand this thing again. And then when we go to close this, now I want to check what this is. It's still 360. What? Yeah, what? Maybe. No, I don't know. Is there a function I need to call on here that'll set this again? Maybe I just set the scroll vertical to whatever it used to be. We could try that. Is there anything else here? There's set H scroll, set V scroll. It's kind of all I really see there. Yeah. All right, then let's try that when we show this again. So I click credits. Now is visible in tree is going to be true. So we're going to do scroll container dot set v scroll to scroll container. Or can we just say v scroll equal? No. So set v scroll container dot get v scroll. Did that work? No. So strange. Huh. And yet collapsing this fixes it. So the contents of the children need to change for it to update the parent. I'm just not sure what's causing that. Yeah, maybe it thinks that the child of this is smaller than it should be. Try this. Scroll container dot get children 0 dot size. Node doesn't contain a definition for size. It's a control. Oh, it's got the right height. Huh. Hey, Miles. It's just being realistic. Can't send them out into the world without knowing what their size is. 543. 543 is higher than the resolution, I think, which means that it's at least the correct size. So that's not even a problem. If I search for the window height, I think it's 380, 360. Yeah. So 580 is greater than 360. So, or 540, whatever, it doesn't matter. 500 something is greater than 300 something. So this is the correct size. I wonder if we just toggled. I wonder if we could repro this in the editor and I could just figure out what I'm supposed to be clicking here because I don't know what I'm doing. Fold it. Oh, there is nothing in here though, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, I need to go add some arbitrary things. Okay, let's fold all this then. And let's go add in some, I don't know, rich text labels or whatever, labels. Hello. All right, so we just duplicate a bunch of these. They're all showing on top of each other because I did not put them inside of this. There we go. So there's the scroll bar. Now I hide this and show this again. everything's fine there. Strange. Very strange. Is that what I'm hiding? It must be. Yeah, I'm hiding the entire credits. But that doesn't repro over here? Very bizarre. Yeah, very bizarre. All right, what if I just do this? Yeah, let's just try that. I don't know what's going on here. I also don't know why I couldn't repro it there. All right, so we expand all these. We close this. We open it again. Yeah, weird. Collapse the tabs every time they close the credits. Yeah, that would work too. All right, I'm gonna look into this just a little bit longer before giving up and just asking AI. So solution could just collapse all tabs first. So then that suggests that when I first open this, there'd be a problem. Like if I just click this and then go open the credits, it won't scroll. No, it does let me scroll. So it's just these. I have to close and then open it again. Maybe that's the case though, even when I don't expand these. This is such a minor bug. It's not worth any of the time I'm spending on this. Maybe it has to do with clicking the close button. No, it does not have to do with clicking the close button. But closing it does cause some problem to happen. The weird thing to me is that when we close it, all we're doing, where's the close button here? Yeah, all we're doing is calling hide. And then hide will call this, which will run this code, which doesn't do anything important. It either calls grab focus here, or just sets the prior focus to null. None of that should be a problem. Yeah, it's so strange. I don't get it. All right, well, let's ask AI. All right, so there's a bug right now on from the title screen. Open the credits, expand all sections, close the credits, open the credits again. At this point, the scroll container won't show a scroll bar, even though every section is expanded and thus should allow for scrolling. I can't figure out why this is happening. Feels bad to have given up on this. So yeah, let's just go do this. The scroll wheel doesn't work either. So it truly thinks there is no content to be scrolled. And I just don't get how that'd be possible. Unless it expanded the size. Okay, that's possible. It could have expanded the size of the scroll container such that it's large enough now to contain all the contents. That might be what happened. We could go validate that. I think I still have this open, right? Yeah, so I can close this and then I reopen it in a second. And we put this here. Okay, so let's try this out. So we do scroll container dot size. No, it's 360. It's correct. Is ensure control visible a thing? I think scroll container has something like that, but the scroll bar doesn't even exist, so it won't be able to scroll. And I can't figure out why that's the case. Scroll mode is set to auto. Maybe the size of this gets changed on the next frame or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see any other code here that would control this. This seems like a Godot quirk. Scroll container, change visibility. Unclear child visibility rules. Maybe it's this. Not possible to hide a direct child of a foldable container. Yeah, it might be something with foldable containers. What did this say? Yeah, so it's gonna make a repro so they can just run this and then find out. Is it checking content? Oh, good. Godot crashed. Yeah, run this. Is it checking content before the content actually loads in when you reopen it? Yeah, there might be something that we need to wait a frame for because sizing, especially around visibility, is weird. But I don't know what that would be because it's not like we're calling a method here. It should be that if we hide this with the scroll bar visible, then when we show it, the scroll bar should be visible. Then yeah, something weird is happening here. While the credits are hidden, the expanded content's reported minimum height collapses to 279. On reopen, the content returns. Still uses the hidden state. And hides his vertical bar. I'm testing the smallest refresh call on reopen now. I wonder if this only happens with foldable containers. Because I want the foldable containers there. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, should I file a bug based on however this gets fixed here? Cues a scroll layout refresh. What is that refresh? If I could just see what that is. Update minimum size, that's all we have to do. Yeah, I'll just go test that myself. Is that a thing I can even call from here? Also, why is the syntax highlighting messed up? Why is this messed up? Q sort. Q resort of the contained children. Does this work? I guess that's the force refresh layout thing. So I just close this and then reopen it? Well, that on its own isn't enough. I'll just let this thing finish running. Yeah, it's going to try to rerun this again and then see if it gets fixed. Yeah. Does this only happen with foldable container? Should I file a bug on Godot? I don't know. I need a minimal repro for that. And presumably it won't be that hard to get. So yeah, maybe I'll go make something. Visibility callback runs during show before Godot has finished propagating a visible state. Defining a sort by an idle. Yeah, okay. So this is probably a waste of time. I can just say call on the next frame, Q sort. It happens automatically. It's probably just happening too soon. That's it. That's the solution. There's all sorts of things that happen whenever it comes to changing visibility in Godot, especially with sizing. The deferred call still lands too early. After the next process frame, matching the pattern already used for expanded section focus handling in this case. Move the refresh there. We wait? I don't think we wait. Oh no, we do for this. Oh no, this is the code that was just added though. Yeah, sure. Let this thing run. Out of curiosity, how much is this burning through? It's a decent amount for a single bug fix. I mean, I don't care too much. I don't think we'll ever actually hit the limits on here. Cleaning up the temporary probe. Yep. All right, so the only change we did here is to call this refresh after showing, which waits until the next process frame and then just calls queue sort. And that's it. And then something changed over here too. These are my hello things. Yeah, these are hello. Okay, that's it. So yeah, I need to now go investigate this. So we close this, we open it, it's fixed. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. AI would do a better job than I would at this. I did not see this function though, so I want to find out why, because we should definitely learn for next time. Where is queue sort and why didn't I see it? Where is it? Is it just a container thing? Oh, it is. Interesting. What does it say? Queue resort of the contained children. Yeah, I don't think I would have realized to call this, because I thought it would have been some scroll specific thing. Interesting. All right, well, now for the annoying part. Now we need to go test this in a minimal repro project so that if there's a bug, we're not the only people to benefit from this knowledge. I've never liked doing this because it is just, it's a tax. All right, so repros, we make a new folder here. We call this scroll container with foldable children. Select current folder. Just call it the same thing. I don't want two folders here. There, perfect. Okay, no version control. And I guess just don't create a folder because I already have a folder. Yeah, there, great. All right, so we need a main scene. We're gonna say this is main.tscn. We're gonna add a, I don't want to do this. I guess just a button. It says like toggle visibility or like show scroll container. Yeah, so here's the button. Then we need another scene that actually adds in the credits. How did I do this in the main project? Credits, I think, were always visible. Like the title screen just has a credits. Yeah, it does. Okay, so then we don't need to do anything special there. Although, what? It's hidden by default? Credits. Do we call hide on this? We do here. Okay, so it's hidden by default. So we're going to go make a new scene here and call this scroll container with foldable children. And this is a scroll container. Some folks have scripts to spam you when your game is released. Oh, they definitely do. They 100% do. Like, and I just posted a major news update for Skeleseller, and I think I got a couple more emails. On the plus side, I also got a Japanese gamer who had played the game before, made another video. And they got 2,000 views, so that was pretty nice. All right, gotta go figure this out. Oh, we're running out of time before the break. So how about this? I'll just, where I left off, making a minimal repro. Yeah. All right, I'll go take a break. I'll come back. We'll finish this up. We'll just keep working through the list. We have a lot of things on the list. But yeah, that'll be this week. So if you've enjoyed me just struggling through minor problems, then you'll enjoy the rest of this week. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, if you want to join, just type join in Twitch chat and then J and a number and jump. Try to get to the top. I'll be back in a bit. Hello again. Hey TJ. Hey Nat. TJ joining at the end of the, so you can be in third place. Close the game. All right, where we left off was trying to come up with this minimal repro. So let's go do this. So we have this with some contents inside. I guess it's got to be a foldable container. And I guess underneath here, there need to be a VBox container with a bunch of labels. This should take up the entirety of the screen. Looks like it's already doing that. And then the foldable container, we give it a title, foldable container. And then some labels that just say hello or something underneath it. I mean, this doesn't really matter. Hello, yeah, just duplicate a bunch of times. The point is that this should be scrollable. So scroll container with foldable children. Easy work for third. It is easy work for third. All right, so now we instantiate in our scroll container here, and we get the button and this. And then I want to attach a script over here. I would love to know enough GD script off the top of my head to just make these repros quickly. This one shouldn't be too hard, so let's go make it. What happens when I click this? Is it trying to open? It's probably trying to open Rider, isn't it? Let's just say don't open. No, I don't want to open this. I want to open it in VS Code, I guess. And also, this probably should have been inside of a VBox container, right? That's not quite going to work. Well, this needs to take up the whole screen. All right, great, whatever. Let's go open this now. This is not working. There we go. I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing, TJ? GD script. Okay, so there's some like on... I don't remember how this works. Some on load, isn't there? God, I really need to write like some just basic... Here's how you get nodes and stuff. I don't use GD script ever. All right, GD script. let's go take a quick look. I could have sworn there's some like on use or something or on load. Man, I don't know what I'm talking about here. Well, here's a way we could do this. Yeah, all right, let's do that. All right, so let's go paste this in here. So we're going to say button equals % button. Yeah, I don't remember any of this stuff. Let's go into my Godot folder and search for pressed. /b pressed. Event.pressed. Here we go. And how do we do this? Connect. I mean, I guess we put all this stuff in ready, right? We might need a var here. All right, so we get the button. When you press it, we call self.show scroll container. This is going to get the scroll container, whose name I don't remember. And it's just going to call show on this. And then we need another script for the other thing. So let's go try this and just see if this is even working, because it's hard enough for me to do. I want to just use C# for this. I don't think this worked. but it might not have worked for a different reason. If I click show here, yeah, it just doesn't have a size. So I think we need a minimum size for this. 50. Yeah, so now it shows. So I got that set up correctly. And there's a scroll bar. And then we need to hide it and then cause it to show itself again. Maybe this should just be a toggle button. Visible equals not visible. Does that work? It doesn't repro this from here. I think... I don't know what's causing this then. I thought that was it for the repro. Just like show and hide this thing. But it's apparently there's something more going on. It's inside a panel container. Like I don't want to spend the time doing this. Yeah. And that in itself is inside a control. We need to match the scene tree. So yeah, I'm not going to deal with this. Why didn't we ever have this problem in Skeleseller though? Because I never called QResort, right? Or QSort. Is that what this function is called? Yeah, QSort. I never did this. I'm so torn. I feel like I should just make this correctly. Fine, let's just go do it. Because yeah, otherwise it's going to bother me. And let's just not use GDScript. Because, yeah. I feel like this has gotten a little bit more intense to do because it's got to now go create a thing in Rider. So here we say trust and open, new window. Should open this up. Yeah, perfect. All right, so now we copy this stuff over. So in ready, we want to get the button. Button equals get node. And then button dot pressed plus equal show scroll container. Private void show is going to be scroll container. Cool. And then, yeah, set this thing's visible. Great. I don't think it's a C# problem. I just think this is going to be easier to write this code in. So now we have the exact same thing we just had. And if I hit play here, it should now build a .NET project and then do the same thing that we had. Yep. Great. So then we got to figure out what's wrong with this scene. And maybe it's that we need a control as a parent. I don't know. So we'll say make scene root here. And try that. So now we should copy what we had over here. The credits is set to full rectangle. The panel container is set to a custom amount just for the sake of sizing that. That probably doesn't matter. And then this is set to fill in both directions. All right, so this is full rectangle. This is set to fill in both directions. Oh, panel container would have determined how that would work. So I guess this doesn't matter too much, maybe. Does this change anything? Well, now it's not working at all. Because the name of this changed? Did not change. What's going on here? Control the scroll container? Oh, this. Yeah, if all we're doing is controlling the visibility, that's all we need to do there. Now I can't close this because of where this shows up. Oh, wait, no, we can still do it. Yeah, so it's not reproing the problem here still. What else is different between these two things? We have other containers inside of here. We have a margin container first. Then we have the VBox container. I guess we could make that. We also have a title and a separator in here. So it's a scroll container with margin container. We also have a panel container above it. I mean, I might as well replicate everything exactly so I don't need to keep testing this one by one. So let's go add in a panel container. Put this here, put this underneath it. Make this take up the entire space. And then set this to grow in both directions. It already is. All right, then underneath this, we put in a margin container. And then we have a VBox container with all the sections. So like that. Does that cause a problem? No. What's going on? Maybe we should be subtractive about our original repro. So like we just don't do anything when visibility changes. That would at least tell us is it something in here. Are you sure that something else isn't taking focus? I don't think it should matter if something's taking focus. It's that the scroll doesn't show up when I close this. So I close this, I reopen it. Wait, now it's working just fine. So it must have to do with my visibility change thing. That's interesting. Yeah, it must be some code in here. So I guess it is focus related. I just don't get why it would be focus related. So I guess let's put this code back in and delete the solution here. So let's try this. Does this repro it? This repros it. So the problem is I mean, there's only one thing that could be the problem here. It's got to be this. Why would this cause a problem? This does make me think this is a bug. So I have this. I go back over to here. Yeah, it's this line of code. Why? What if the prior focus is the selection? I don't think that's the problem because if I click close, the focus changes to this. And then when I open this, there's still no scroll bar. So yeah, the problem is in here somehow. What is grab focus silently doing? Set meta and then just grab focus. So somehow having it grab the focus. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the scroll container needs the focus. So like if I did this on the next frame, maybe everything would be fine. This dot call next frame. Don't we just pass in an action yet? So if I do this, does everything get fixed? Because this is weird. I wouldn't expect this at all. So this... Yeah, it's fine. Well, how does it make sense? Okay, well, that's the problem. So we need to repro that. So all this extra stuff doesn't probably really matter at all. We can probably just have the scroll container. So well, before we do that, let's go repro this. So we'll make a new control here and we'll call this scroll container with foldable children. And then put this inside of a namespace. Oh, that wasn't a namespace. Where's the namespace? On visibility. Oh, I see. We can't name it this because the namespace is up here. Yeah. All right. Fine. Just delete this. Names. Why do names have to be so hard? All right. Detach, attach a new script. Call this scroll container. Yeah. Now there's no problem. We did it. All right, on visibility change or visibility change plus equal on visibility changed. So if is visible in tree, we're going to get this thing and focus it. Get node control foldable container dot grab focus. So this is enough for this thing to break. Let's go try this. Just wait a frame. Yeah. Just strange. It's not causing a problem here. Isn't that all I did? First section is in sections. Sections is this. First one is team section. Okay, great. So maybe there need to be 2 sections under here. Like I should have done one more of these. No, still not happening. Can I see the other section up there? Yes, I can. Maybe it's because one of them is supposed to be folded. I'm just trying to find out what's different here. Yeah. Hey gamer. Hey scholar. Also, hey stats. I don't think I said hi to you. I still can't repro this. Like this is the problem here. This causes a problem where the scroll bar isn't fixed. But I can't get this to happen on the other side. That's all we're doing here. First section. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't see the difference. Okay, did I set up the structure the same way? The credits, then panel container, scroll container, margin, VBox. There is some other stuff in here. I mean, maybe that matters. Maybe I do need to add in a label here. And we could try it. Because I don't have any other ideas. Label. So this will be put here, and we'll just call this title. It doesn't literally, it doesn't need to have anything. And then an H separator, which again should not matter at all. Nothing's clipping. Well, okay, so what I expect to have happen, and this is a bug, so I'm expecting a bug now, is I click this, there's a scroll bar at the side. I know this is really hard to see. I should just expand the size of everything. But then when I close this and reopen it, the scroll bar should go away. That's the bug I'm trying to repro here. So let's go do a couple of things. Let's go change this to set the content scale factor. How do you do this? Like get root. Wait, is get root not a thing? Root? Get tree.root dot content scale factor? Yeah, there we go. Set this to 3 so I can actually just see what's going on. Let's go try that. Oh, good. Look at that. We can actually see what's happening now. Yeah, so there's a scroll bar here. This is fine. Then we should close this and open it, and the scroll bar should go away, and it's not. And that means that there's some difference that I have not found yet. I want to start game dev, but don't know where to start. Lack structure and learning. Could you suggest some pointers to get into it? Yeah, so to boil it down to some like very basic steps here, I would say to pick an engine based on almost nothing. It could be name recognition at this point. So you've heard of Unity, you've heard of Godot, you've heard of Unreal, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is, just pick one of these. Then pick it in the next like 10 seconds. I use Godot. If you've never heard of any of these, just go pick Godot. Then go download the engine. So in this case, you'd go to Godot, you'd click download. I'm not going to teach you how to do this. Obviously, you've downloaded stuff before. So like download this and then go find their getting started guide, which is here, docs. And then they've got a bunch of things. I don't know where exactly you want to start with this. So you might want to read these sections, but the Godot getting started guide is pretty good. So I suggest reading through this. Where do they have? No, their step-by-step guide I think is pretty nice too. Anyway, one of these guides. And then there is the 20 games page over here, 20 games challenge. They have a list of games you could make. Just go through the first like 3 or 4 of these. So Pong is now the first game you're going to make. You've got Godot as your engine. You now have cut through a bunch of the decisions. So you don't need to decide like which piece of technology am I using? What language am I using? I have now decided for you. It's Godot and GDScript. And like what game am I making? I have decided for you it's Pong. You now do not have to do any game design. You don't have to make assets. You can just focus on the game dev part of things. And in making Pong, I mean, pretty quickly after reading that getting started guide, you'll put like a paddle on the screen, which in Godot is like dead simple. You'd make a new scene, you'd have something like this, you'd add a sprite, and then you just set what your sprite is here. So in our case, I don't have a paddle graphic. I'm not going to try to make one. So I'll just drag this over to here. It's a rider graphic. But like imagine that this was a rectangle. There's my paddle. And now I could just drag it up and down if I want. So now your next step is like, well, get the arrow keys to drag this up and down. And then make a little ball move around. And like, so this would be a paddle and you'd go make a ball. And the ball would look more like this. And like you can already see, oh wow, we're starting to make a game here. We just need this thing to move around automatically and bounce off walls. And that's stuff for you to figure out. But that way you cut through all the decision fatigue and like hyping yourself up to be like, well, I want the perfect engine and here's the game I want to make and it's going to be some super RPG with, you know, Dark Souls mechanics. And it's like, no, don't do any of that stuff. Try to simplify every single possible decision you can make. Hey, Blackwater. Sprite node rendering API or draw function is simpler pain in the butt as you want. Yeah, I mean, I would try to just do things that the getting started guide suggests. So it's probably going to tell you like add a sprite and not, you know, go deep into the draw function. Because you would say, yeah. And I don't think Pong is like a crazy game to make by any means, even if you don't know anything about game development, if you're using an off-the-shelf game engine. So if you were to write a renderer yourself, yeah, you're probably gonna have a hard time. But if you're using Godot, it's like you just saw me add some sprites. Like that's all you're doing for Pong. You're adding like 3 sprites: a paddle, a ball, and another paddle. That's it. There isn't even a background in Pong. And if you want to draw a background, there's a 4th sprite for you. That's all. And don't even worry about making the sprites. Like they should just be rectangles and squares. Hey, typical. And thank you. And hey, Phil. Yeah, enjoy the small wins. And then the reason I say like cut through all this stuff is because I think the core of game dev should, or the core of learning anything should kind of come down to, am I enjoying this? And do I want to continue? And the harder you make it for yourself, the less this is going to be a yes answer. Like if you want to go learn game dev and you start by trying to make World of Warcraft, you probably won't have a good time. I mean, maybe you will. Some people might, but like the average person would probably have a better time feeling like they're making progress and getting closer to the completion of their game. And yeah, do I want to continue? And I guess, am I learning in the first place? Like, should ideally be learning. So yeah, then from there, you know, this 20 games challenge has some other games that are pretty easy to make. Like Flappy Bird is not a crazy game to describe to somebody. It's not a crazy game to make. Toward the end of this list, they get to be pretty crazy, like Portal. Yeah, I don't think Portal should be the first game you make. And unless this list, it's number 20. But to be honest, I think at some point you probably want to deviate from this list and be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Now I can tackle a small game that I want to tackle. Yeah. Core learning anything is acceptance of the fact that it'll be tough and boring at the start. I don't think it has to be tough and boring at the start, especially not game dev. And I think this is sometimes where a good teacher can come in to get you past the boring stuff in a way that makes it seem more fun. But like, I think game dev can be pretty interesting from the beginning. I think part of the reason for that is game dev almost necessarily requires some visual component. Anything with a visual component is going to be a little bit more grokkable to people than one without. If you're just doing back-end development and you're making some like, I don't know, an app, a database, and you're making some like API layer for it, like this does not necessarily have a visual component. You know, maybe it is for the sake of a front end that is visual, but it might not be. It might be that you're just making a back end. There's certainly services being sold out there that they don't have a front end themselves. All right, so I still can't figure out the difference between these two things, and I don't know what point I should just kind of give up on this. Our scene structure should be pretty much identical at this point, right? So let's open them both up like this. We have a sections container, which is the VBox container here. Oh, I don't have that over here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess we had another VBox container. I don't know how much this matters. I put these things under there. It won't change the look of this, but it might change the repro. I just want to get to the point where I could potentially file a bug if I need to. It still isn't happening. The other thing that I do here is I set this to visible or not visible. That's all that scroll container.hide should be doing. If I recall correctly, let's go find out. No, it calls a native call. So it might do something different. Okay, so we might need to change how this works. We could put a close button at the bottom of all of this. We have one at the bottom of that. So yeah, let's do it over here too, right? Button, close button. All right, this goes over to here. Button, close button, get node. Pressed plus equal hide. All right, that causes it. Then yeah, there's something weird going on with a hide. So now I got to scroll all the way to the bottom, click close. No, it's still not happening. Can't figure it out. Back into so much fun. Satisfaction we run a curling to 403. Trying to make a 3D zombie game with friends. My part was asset creation. We ended up scrapping the project because we lacked structure and quickly jumping on ideas. This is, I think, the core of lots of people who start like a hobby or just some new endeavor is the scope is too large. People lack discipline and maybe some structure. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty much those two things. And maybe there's a lack of knowledge, but I think you can get over those sorts of things. I think when the scope is too large, I've talked about this so many times on stream, but I think there's a passion drop-off point, and I think it's almost always equal to about 1 month of time. It's pretty common that people will say like, "Hey, we should do something together. Let's go start a game project," and then only one person is still involved after a month, and then even then they'll probably drop off after some time. And it's like it's easy to get excited about stuff. It's hard to then follow through because game dev is some part exciting and then some part like incredibly boring drudge work. And you can release a game without ever really touching the boring stuff, but it's probably like a game jam level game. At some point, it's like, let's say you're making a multiplayer game, you probably need an account system. Do you find an account system fun to make? Do you find it fun to secure? Do you find it fun to deploy? Probably not. Maybe some of those things you find fun. But yeah, it's just going to take grit to get through that. Or maybe you find the account system fun, but you hate animating UIs or something. It's like, okay, well, that's your drudge work. And yeah, at some point, you've got to either do it or just have a less polished or complete game. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? I think the scene structure is practically identical. Yeah, there's a color rectangle in the back. We can add that. This shouldn't matter at all. This is probably set to take up the whole screen. Yes, it is. What does that button do? Create a new resource in memory. I don't think I've ever clicked that. All right, we'll set this to, I don't know, dark blue. There. And then have that take up the full rectangle. And then we run this. Following game design doc or setting something up to tell me what to do next. Help. Yeah, I think that's part of the structure that can help for some people. I think other times, like I said, it's just grit. It's like, well, you're going to have a task you don't like. So it's about getting through it somehow. Man. Oh, wait. Oh, this button is still not calling show. Show might be important here. Yeah, we might just want to call this. All right, so now we technically have matched everything the exact same. I am spending way too much time on this. I just would hate to leave a bug that I haven't. No, I still haven't gotten this to work. What else is going on that's different? Oh, wait. Oh, when the focus enters, we call ensure control visible. So this is probably the real problem here. All right, we're probably changing this. Yeah, okay, I think I understand. We get the scroll containers global rectangle. It's just not set yet. Okay, I think that's the actual problem. All right, well, that makes sense then. So everything's probably fine. I get it now. I get where the bug is. So now we will not have any issue, I'm guessing. I go down and close this. I open it up again. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with grabbing the focus. It has to do with this call not reporting the correct rectangle here. Hey, Jake. If you're working on a team, having someone who's in charge of being the bad guy to control scope has been the biggest help. Yeah, I think any team that actually stays together and has people do the amount of work that they kind of said they were going to do is a team that probably has a very high chance of success. And I think of it like a relationship. In fact, I think more people should probably look at their professional relationships like relationships. Obviously, not to have a romantic component, but like you will experience conflict. You need to get over that conflict. You will probably disagree about things that you both think is super important. I mean, this is just another form of conflict. Like you need to find a way to move forward. Oh, just wait a frame. Yeah, just wait a frame, but due to this reporting the wrong thing. Okay, so there's no bug on Godot here. This is important. And the wait a frame so that we can resort children. I guess either one of these kind of works, but the proper solution is to just wait a frame before grabbing the focus. So I'm going to delete this. We're going to put this back in. And we need to wait because grabbing the focus calls ensure control visible, which requires us to have the correct scroll container size. And that's our solution. We go put that back in. We go put this back in. And we delete wherever that Q sort went. Yeah. I don't need this. Is that a meowy cat I hear? Come on in, meowy cat. Abby? Abby. She doesn't want to come in. What is my words per minute? I don't only have a joke answer for you, which is there. All right, so how are we looking here now? Yeah, this is looking good. Okay, so with the controller 2, this should work. I expand a bunch of these. I close it, I open it, everything's fine. Great, bug fixed, time wasted. Now what do I need to do? Just delete all the hellos that I added? Goodbyes, world. Goodbyes. This is in the title screen. This actually should be checked in. This one is just the hello stuff. This should not be checked in. And then this is, well, that doesn't matter. This is the change I made to, yeah, this also doesn't matter. Oh, these are probably getting automatically added though. Yep, it's fine. Cool. What is this doing here? We have a call next frame. Yep, that's good too. Okay, great. Alrighty, so let's check this in. So fix bug with credits screen. So reopening the credits would focus the first section, which would try scrolling it into view. Oh my God, why is this not working? It's supposed to wrap this automatically. Why? Why am I struggling with this now? Commit. Limit subject line. Limit body line. Why is this off? I had this on. Oh, that's strange. Try scroll. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Weird. I don't know how that got turned off. Makes me wonder if I broke something else too. Anyway, what was I writing? Reopening the credits would focus the first section, which would try scrolling into view, but the scroll container wouldn't have the correct size yet. Now we wait a frame before trying to scroll it into view. All right, and then this is fix UID. Godot automatically applied this change. Cool. What made me switch? I've got a little bit of the answer here. I think that's, let me see. Yeah, I think that's a full answer. Okay, Abby's not going to come in. I'm going to close the door. All right, so this is done. All right, might be better to end the demo inside the next game. I don't want the next game to be a space shooter, but it may be cool to have the main character as a jet flying through space. Let's just file this as an idea for now. I wonder if we should make a Steam page this week. Is that too soon? Do I have anything to even put on the Steam page? Demo, here it is. All right, now I gotta do this. Learn to love Rider for Unreal. I think Rider's pretty good. It's also nice to like have the full power of something kind of dedicated to C Sharp. Like VS Code is just a general editor. And then you get C Sharp plugins. Sorry, I said this stupidly. You get C Sharp support through plugins. And I think one of them is made by Microsoft. No, they're both made by Microsoft. Huh. Well, never mind. They're just not as good, I think. That's all I have to say, I guess. Yeah. All right, so my issues were addressed and they made another release. Oh, was my other issue ever commented on? I never looked at that. Where is that? It looks like it was closed, so I'm guessing that they... Oh, no, it's right there. No, they never responded to this. All right, that's fine. It's not a big deal. That one didn't matter to me. I don't even save the CSV files. So one of these, what is this? Don't need to do anything since I stupidly modified the add-ons folder directly. Yeah, comma. So updating should wipe out that change. So how do they fix this? I think they did both ways of fixing it that I recommended. Yeah, they did. Okay, that's fine. And then I could use these functions. I'm not totally sure what they're for. Node is a yarn block though. Tend to give you a place to trigger custom logic in your dialog presenters when the nodes change. Similar to all other methods on presenters to give you an event to respond to. So what does this do for me? I think nothing. Yeah, I think nothing. But it might be worth taking a look anyway. Yeah, I should take a look. All right, let's go update this thing. So let's go find the release. Here, last week. And what day was it exactly? May 25th. When did I update? Must have been before May 25th. All right, well, I wrote some notes about this, didn't I? Yarn spinner, update. Updating the library is the same, just clone from GitHub and copy into your project. Okay, let's go do that. Temp, yarn spinner, git pull. Changes. Why do I have changes? Git reset hard. Okay, good. Git pull. Git log -1. We should have bug fixes. This is the one from May 25th. Yep. Okay, so now we just open this up and go pull it into game add-ons. So we should find yarn spinner Godot. There it is. All right, so just delete this whole thing, I guess, and paste this in. Does this copy? How do I copy? I think it copied. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that should be totally fixed now, right? So I'll see a diff in here. Yes, of quite a lot. Wait, no, I messed that up. Yeah, I like super mess that up because there's another folder in here called add-ons. Yeah, whoops. Oopsies. Okay, let's go fix that. That should have fixed it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, there we go. I don't even think it's worth writing in my instructions. I mean, it's pretty obvious I just screwed that up. Hey, Chili. Good morning to you. I had a pretty good weekend. It was a nice mix of social stuff, fun stuff, and productive stuff. So yeah, I got done with all my localization work that I had dangling over me. And now I didn't actually show this, but if I go run, yeah, this is the command I have to do basically everything all at once. So it'll produce new .po files with translations for me. It'll like merge in the other translations I have. It'll run Yarn Spinner's dialog export. It'll then convert those to PO files. It'll make new languages if I needed to. So it's nice to have all that stuff. All right, so we've updated this. I kind of want to look through the changes. Yeah, this doesn't matter. I don't use a default dialog system anymore. Although this might break my scene, right? I don't know what's going to happen here. If I go into farming game, No, 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 no. I instantiated this directly, so it should not be a problem. Okay, so this doesn't matter. So what's the next thing that's changed? They added some new lines. On node completed, on node started. Yep, they call these. That's good. New lines again. All right, sure. What is this now? This just move? Yeah, it moved. And then what is this? The same thing where it moved? This shouldn't matter to me. I don't even use this. And then what is this? Line presenter. What changed here? Because this might matter to me. Do I have my own line presenter? I don't. So this might be fine. I don't even know what they changed. The diff is so like poisoned by formatting changes. I don't see any meaningful change here. Seems like just ordering stuff. Yeah, like ready moved to a different part of the file. Anything else? No, that's pretty much it. I don't know if I said this, but happy birthday, Scholar. I know when your birthday is exactly. Not that you have to share, but yeah, happy birthday. All right, could use these functions. So this should just work. Let's go try this out. Let's just test it in the game. The play button. On one of my birthdays a year or two ago, I got a baked good mix. So imagine like a brownie mix, but it was something a little bit more special than that. And I just never made it, and it's still sitting there in one of our cupboards. And I just remembered about that now that we're talking about birthdays. And I want to have it too. All right, so this doesn't matter. We got to go to the farming game. And I'll just speed this up. And all we're doing is making sure that the dialogue still looks good. We might as well have some sounds here. Okay, looks good. What did I do for that change? Copy pasted letter typewriter. Isn't my thing gonna mess up? Hold on a second. Is it line presenter? Add range. Ah, here it is. And now for custom typewriters, we set this equal. Yeah, okay, good. All right, good. So that's fixed. And these functions, I just want to look into. Yeah. So farm game .cs dialog runner runner.on node start. This is the new thing I was talking about here. On node enter and exit. Enter and exit. On node, there's no enter. Where does this exist? Dialog presenters now have optional on node enter and exit. Dialog presenters. So like it's on Saturday, no big deal. Well, now I'm gonna know. I'm gonna write it down. Calendar 30th. Done. Happy belated birthday. Alright, so I gotta go find out where these functions exist. Node enter. Dialog presenters. Dialog presenter base has it. And what is this a base for? Like a line presenter maybe? Yeah, line presenter, options presenter. Okay, so I have my own stuff here. We can go look at the options presenter, for example. That is here. And I want to, we don't have a ready function, do we? No. Oh, wait, we do. Okay. So node enter, on node enter, on node complete and start. Where is this? Where can I find this? Public void. So they're not events. I understand that. And they're interfaces, so I should just be able to do this myself. Whoop. Don't know what happened there. On node enter. All right, all I want to do is put a breakpoint here and see, is this even helpful for me? Why can't I? There we go. Now we debug this. So if I'm understanding correctly, a node in this case is what I was calling a yarn block, which is something like start, which is just an indicator of where dialogue begins. And let this guy hit immediately. It's already set to start. Oh, because of our warm-up thing. All right, but I am kind of curious how this transitions between these. Like I go to a new node and something can happen here. So now this should be start again. Then we hit the play button. And then once I pick a choice, it should go to a different place. So if I pick yes, for example, node name yes. So this is literally what I have inside of farm.yarn, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right, that's interesting. That's interesting. Do we ever write the word node here? Not in the context of yarn spinner. I'm going to write this at the top. One line notes. A node in the context of yarn is, or yarn spinner, is essentially just a dialogue block. Anytime you have a jump call in your script, it's jumping to a node. If you want to detect from code when you changed nodes, you can define on node enter and what exit. Yeah. Cool. Hey, Campbell Soup. I know you did a bunch of localization. I missed a lot of it. I was wondering how easy it is to work with yarn for it. So it's not too bad. I will say, so the way the yarn spinner works, there are a few different things that you need to know. And I'm trying to figure out where to start exactly with this. So at its core, it is a dialogue system. So you write something like person one, how are you? Person two, fine, thanks. When it comes to localizing, you need some way of being able to convert this into, let's say, French. And here's where things can get a little bit tricky. So how about this? I'll just tell you what I did for a lot of this stuff. So for one, we have our yarn dialogue here. This is all written in English. And this is very important to me that there is an English like source of authority for all of this. So that way you're not reading a line of a file that looks like this, like line dash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and line dash whatever, like some other random thing. And you'd be like, what is this supposed to be? And you have to look at another file to figure out, oh, that's person one, how are you? And then you look at this and you're like, oh, that's person two, fine, thanks. So I wanted there to be an English source of truth for this. But because of all the problems I ran into with WebLate and having English as the translation source, I wanted there to be identifiers for each of these lines that is separate. So here at the end of each line, you will see a line tag. These are things that Yarn can add automatically for you. So if we go to our Yarn project, just clicking this button, add line tags to scripts, will put line tags for everywhere that you don't already have one. And they're guaranteed to be unique. So if you ever did share a line of dialogue across files, you could just copy paste the line tag and they'd be the same. So then Yarn also has a way of exporting localizations to CSV files. So CSV files are, as a for those who don't know, it's comma separated values. So there's gonna be something like the file, the line number, the line identifier, the text, the whatever else, a whole bunch of columns here. So it's going to emit a lot of those. I don't think I have one of those to show you. However, because I use Weblate for sourcing translations, I can't use CSV files. So we convert those CSV files to PO files, which Godot knows about and Weblate knows about. So in the end, we have something that looks like this, which is pretty easy to understand. We have those line IDs from inside of the yarn dialog, and then the string that it should turn into. So tutorial man, hello, welcome to Moondrop Village, you must be player. So same thing down here, another line ID, another string. When it comes to French, so let's say we go look at dialog.po in French, which is where submodules, translations, French, dialog. Okay. So the French is pretty much the exact same thing. You have a line ID and then you just have a French string instead. And this will all show up on Weblate when we upload it. So that's kind of a broad overview of what was done. If any of that doesn't make sense, I'm happy to go into more detail and tell you about how it worked. In the end, we have a localization tool, which is actually pretty big. It's everything in this folder. Where'd that folder go? There it is. Yeah, so all of these files from here down to here are for helping us localize. Excuse me, almost all of this was written by AI. So yeah, there is quite a lot that needs to happen. And if I just show you the README, it kind of talks about this. Here's everything it's doing. So first it tries to generate Godot scene translations. That's identical to going in here, clicking project settings, and clicking this button. This is not automatable right now, but there's a PR to make it automatable. So this tries to do it, but it's always going to fail. So it's going to tell you to do it manually. Then it does all that stuff I mentioned with the yarn spinner. So it's going to annotate line numbers. It's going to try exporting CSVs. It's going to convert them to PO files. Then it's going to run get text to pull all the strings from C#. That's what we did for Skeleseller as well. Then it's going to do this nice step, which is register any PO files that are new. So like, let's say we just added German. It'll put these into the project file for us. And yeah, we can also add languages through this tool. So if I ever want to add, let's say like Dutch, then I can just say, go add Dutch, and it'll make all the files for me. In theory, you don't need to touch anything. Yeah, although I will say that's kind of how it worked for Skeleseller too. The big problem with Skeleseller was with how Weblate handles history and metadata. And I've said this a bunch, so you might have heard this, but in Skeleseller, English was the identifier and a language that we render in. So when you have a string like hello, there is no identifier to be like, oh yeah, this is line number or whatever, this thing. It's just hello. And what that means is if you ever change it from like, you know what, actually that's a little too formal, let's just say hi. Well, now you'd lose all of your translations you had for this. And you'd lose comment history, you'd lose revision history, you'd lose screenshot data, you'd lose an explanation you had written. So now instead what we do is we have a like, you know, we might call it generic greeting. And then the English for this could be hello. And if we decide to change it to hi, it doesn't change the identifier. So now Weblate won't lose any information. And that was the motivator behind all of this. So it took making an entire game to realize like, wow, that was a big mistake. And this is why I want to do a video on this, because people don't have to make the same mistake to learn from it like I did. They can just be like, oh yeah, this guy did it and he struggled a lot. And yeah, all you need to internalize is like just use identifiers for stuff. And Godot already has built-in tooling for handling this. So let's say I go look at generic message or generic menu, yeah, like this sort of thing. So if you open up any of these files, like the title screen, and we turn off the view language here, this is what our title screen looks like. We have a button saying title screen start game. We have one saying generic menu open settings. This is nonsensical to a player. But when we click view it in English, it shows up totally fine. Also, what was that? English EN, that shouldn't show up probably. No, I guess they both work. So yeah, there's a lot that I've learned in doing this. I wrote a bunch of notes. I uploaded all the notes. So this is now up to date as of yesterday. So if you go look at my internationalization in Godot, this note, this is quite good. The Weblate note is quite good. And there's one other one I added, yarn spinner. And I wrote notes about localizing even yarn spinner down here, like general localization notes, converting to PO files, why I did this. I've got links to my other notes in here. So yeah, hopefully that helps somebody. All right, so I've updated this, and then I just added in a new function that I want to go delete. Where is that new function? Oh, come on. Where did I put this? It must have been here, and I just have a new line at the end or something? Yeah, it's just a new line at the end. I don't know how you delete that. So I'm just going to roll back the whole file. Because every time I try deleting it, it just puts it back in. All right, so now we should just have changes that they did, right? So all this should be in add-ons, add-ons. This is a change I made, but for no reason, right? Yes, for no reason. Okay, that's fine. And what else do we have here? Why did this change? What it what? It reordered some stuff? That's kind of strange. Why did it reorder this? The names didn't change, right? No, and it's not in alphabetical order now or anything. It was before. It's not now. Strange. I'm not gonna check that in. Yeah, because I didn't actually do anything here. Okay, so this is just update yarn spinner. I did this mostly due to, where's the bug? Here, this one, right? So that I didn't need to keep using the change I had made to the add-on code. Wait, I said I stupidly changed this. I needed to change this, right? Why did I say I was stupid? I'm not stupid. Yeah, I needed to do that. I guess I could have made a copy of Line Presenter or something. Hey, Pickle, an ad's about to start, so I'm going to take a quick break. That way people don't miss anything. I just got to finish this check-in when I get back. All right, is it jump time? Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, hello again. Hey, ABC. Hey, Hody. All right, close the game. Excuse me. Mm. All right, so where I left off was about to commit this. Yeah, nice. Commit. Done. All right, cool. All right, rename yarn block to yarn node. This is called a snippet. So we just got to figure out how to edit snippets now. I never remember how to do this apparently, but I wrote notes about it. Live templates. That's why I can't find it. Live templates. C# yarn. Where is this? Oh, it's not in C#. That's why. All right, we call it yarn node. Save. Done. File a task to donate money to Yarn Spinner if we still ended up using it by the end of the project. They have a donate link. Yeah, they do. Okay. I'll just link this. Where should I put this, though? Let's put it in the launch task. Do I have an issue search? I don't have one, do I? BT? I'll do that tomorrow afternoon. Where is it? Yeah. Add BT or something to Google's site search. It's called Chrome site search. Like how S searches through Scala issues. All right, well, I don't have an easy way of searching for it unless I go to the repo, which takes an extra like 3 seconds. So, wow, what a waste of time. All right, there we go. Launch task. All right, people to give free keys to. Donate money to Yarn Spinner. If I'm still using it, it probably saved me a bunch of time. All right, there we go. All right, next up, the plugin I vibe coded is bad and should probably just be deleted. Maybe tear down the GitHub repo. I don't even remember how to build it. Yeah, I'm gonna delete all this stuff. What a waste. All right, so let's go delete it from here if I haven't already. Nope, it's already gone. And let's go find this thing. Ever used Notion? I have not. Wants to work on the next game with me, wants to use it. So while I haven't used it, I imagine I have some sort of like Kanban thing in there. Tasks tracking. I just want to see a picture. Yeah. Okay, they have a Kanban board. In general, what I've found is if you're working with like 1 to 2 other people, task tracking is a waste of time. Just talk to the person about what you're doing. That's my take. And the waste of time is like, okay, so for Scala, we had a ton of, where's the repo? Oh, there, it's in big text. I was looking for little text. Yeah, we had a ton of issues that we filed over the course of the project. So there were like 900 issues. And some of these were for tracking, and we used GitHub projects for some time. It was just not worth the effort. I think the whole point of task tracking is for either larger teams, maybe like different time zones where you can't talk to the person. So yeah, it's like, well, I'm gonna have to wait 8 hours to find out what they're working on. So yeah, I'd like to have some way of knowing that ahead of time. And even then you could have like a digital stand-up. Yeah, otherwise it's not really worth it. Not using GitHub projects. Nope. Nope. Yeah, the way that we now do this, I mean, for one, and you might have a different structure, but the structure of the Stuck in a Broken tutorial team is like me full time, and then Kevin and Dark are like very part time, let's say. So it might be something like, I don't know, 1 hour per week, and then maybe 5 hours on a given week, and then back to like 0 hours the next week or something. So it pretty much just boils down to, for me, I would just click an issue and be like, all right, let's just assign it to one of them. And that's it. The assignment then becomes ad hoc. It's when I need it. And it's not like every single task I'm gonna assign. Hey Phil. So yeah, we were using GitHub projects for Skeleseller, and like I said, it was just not worth the effort. It might take you 10 minutes per week. It's just not even worth the 10 minutes per week. And in general, you have a lot of like, well, now we need to create a sprint or something. We need to, yeah, it's just not worth it. So yeah, if it's like you and a buddy and you're each going to be developing, let's say anywhere between like 50-50 all the way up to like 35-65, yeah, just talk to each other. If it's gonna be like 90-10, then it should be the 90 person just assigning tasks to the 10 person. Did you feel like, but I mean, yeah, I guess you said it was fine. So yeah, you didn't feel like something was lacking. Yeah, I would not add it. Now, that said, any tasks that neither of you is going to do, so let's say there's a bug, like I would still file a bug with pictures and repro steps. I think that's important because this is stuff that even you might forget about if you tackle it a year from then. And by you, I mean the general you. Like I would forget about something that I came up with 6 months ago, and I have very much benefited from that. And then once it's on GitHub, assigning it to someone is dead simple. So that's nice. All right, so I was going to delete this repo. I don't know how easy it is to do this while streaming it. So what I'm going to do is delete it off screen. And that way I don't leak anything just in case. Let me make sure this is the correct repo before I do this, which I can do on screen. Yeah, there is no readme here. This is have AI make plugin. Yeah, this is stupid. We're deleting this. Delete repository. I want to delete. I have read and understand these effects. To confirm, type Adam learns / find next with wrap plugin. Delete. Now I gotta authenticate this. Done. Repo is gone. Okay. All right, open the game such that you go into the farming game in town, quit after that, you'll see this crash. Yeah, this is not going to be a fun task to do. All right, let's change the game to start in to be the farming game, and we're supposed to go into town, which is what, this one? And I just start this and we see what happens. I don't start in town though, do I? Oh, whoops. This was supposed to be deleted. Oops. Is that the last thing I did? Can I just amend the commit? I can, yeah. Whoops. This is my code, right? It's not my code, which is why I didn't see this. But I think I modified this. It's line presenter, so we can just go find out really easily. Just click code, type line presenter, and then just see if this code exists there. It's line 381. Well, it's not really 381, is it? What is this? 401? No, yeah. I added this. Okay, so we just gotta get rid of it. Amend. All right. So we start the game. I closed it, didn't I? I did close it. All right, we start the game again. And we're in town and we just quit. Handle crash. Program crash with signal 11. Dumping the backtrace. Please include this when reporting the bug. You know what I want to do for this? I want to try updating Godot because I want to update Godot for other reasons. So let's just see if updating Godot fixes this. Have I downloaded the newest version? Because I could have sworn I did this the other day. But May 29th. I don't know if I did on May 29th. Godot, May 29th. But was it the right time? All right, let's load this and see. What version is this? Update available. So it's not the newest one. So they have beta 4 now. What's the changelog? So what, I do this like 10 minutes before they launch a new one? As a build system. Mm, anything interesting here? I don't think there's anything massive. I didn't read through all of these just yet. Okay, well, we can try this, but I doubt this will fix this issue. I do want to update this anyway, though. We're still early enough in development where I don't plan to stay on the same version of Godot. And for example, if they went up to Godot 5 pretty soon, I would probably update to that too. I think it's probably worth it. But yeah, let's go try this and see. So there, now Godot Mono 3. Now I want to use this to launch Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Oh, I never showed the logos. I wanted to do that. Yes. Let me go find this. Okay, so the first set of logos I did show before, and they're here. So these are just sketches of what the logo could be done by Quickie Joe, who is a very good artist. Much better than the kinds of things I would come up with. And there were some ideas that we liked in here and some ideas that we didn't like shortening into just the letter N, I did not like. But then there were a lot of good things going on there. So now here's the new set. And this made some things clear to me that we need to have the character in the logo. Like, I just think it does amazing things for the logo. And I really, really like how this one looks. And I didn't even notice it at first that it's not the full name of the game. It's just the abbreviation because this is how I think of the game. So then I showed this to my wife and she's like, oh yeah, but it's just the letters. And I'm like, oh yeah, we can't do that then. I know it's got the words down here, but yeah, this is not meaningful to someone and it's not pronounceable either. If we were making a game that was like, I don't know, like Mesa or something like that, then yeah, I would totally want to include it. But yeah, I really like how the character looks. So I think it's super cool. I had an idea that to communicate the brokenness of the game, we'd have the character be upside down or like phasing through text or something. There's a little too much going on in this one for it to look good. So it's kind of between like 1 and 4 in terms of looks. Or maybe we could still use 2, but just change some of this stuff. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty cool. Hey, Jeremy. Number 3 of the first set and number 1 of the second. Yeah. Those are pretty much the same. And it's too bad they're not in the same order as well. But yeah. Like PVKK, what is that? Oh, yes. Wow. Is that Alex? It's Ken tutorial. Yeah, I think we're gonna change how some of that works a little bit too. Like this, I probably wouldn't write it like that exactly. But yeah, I like this a lot. I think the character needs to appear. I think having the word tutorial be broken is like we'll change some of this. We'll get another round of sketches and then we'll home in on this. But yeah, I'm excited. Then I gotta start ordering merch. I think my Steam Castle artist ghosted me at this point. Now I need to figure out if I can afford another one. Did they take money from you? Because if they ghosted you after just like taking a design or something, like a text description of what you wanted, then yeah, I guess that happens. But like if they took money and ghosted you, I would file a claim against them, like a small claims court kind of thing. Because yeah, that's not okay. I would not stand for that. All right, so I launched the new version of Godot. I've got this. It presumably migrated the project. I doubt there's very much that needed to happen for this. Yeah, it just updated this and what here? Yeah, 7. What changed here? There's a space? Really? Okay, fine. I'll put some spaces in there. And then the title screen changed to get a different UID. Okay, great. So let's just try running this and let's see what happens. Half up front, which wasn't terrible. They delivered several times for pre-finished stuff. Not sure if what I spent is worth pursuing over. Yeah, if you did get some work, that's probably just the luck of the draw here. And at least you could give it to some other artist now to finish up. Yeah. All right, so we just quit here and then, oh, is it fixed? It's just working now? Everything's fine? So if I hit play here, it's going to launch the wrong version of Godot, I believe. How do we figure that out? What? What is this? Godot Mono 3. It's loading for some like wacky private folder though. What is this? Result too large. What? Okay. I don't know what that's about. I also don't know how that got there. I wonder if it downloaded it itself. But I mean, we could just change this to be the one that's in my downloads folder, right? There shouldn't be a problem there, I think. Oh, we got to actually find the binary in here. There. Click OK. Click play. Invalid project path. Why is this not checked in? Working directory shouldn't be here. It should be the directory here. Yeah, this. And then path should be just a game. Click OK. Click debug. Does it work? Yeah. And then does this crash? It does crash. Okay, so it's not fixed. So why didn't Godot show this? This is the new version, right? Yeah, this is the new version. I hit play. It doesn't crash when you launch from Godot, but it crashes when you launch from Rider. Is this just how I'm launching the game? I wonder what happens if you export it. No export templates found. I got the new version. Install all. I don't really need all of them right now. We could just install Mac if we want. Oh, they will eventually need Windows and Linux, so I guess let's just get those. But yeah, I don't need mobile or web or anything. This should be about a gigabyte, I think. This is a new UI, by the way. Pretty cool. Hey, bums. Money well spent when it works out. Yeah, this is like the classic problem with when you can't do a job yourself is just finding the person to even do the job is difficult. I am very annoyed because I have been trying to find like a CPA slash accountant kind of person. I've tried, I think, 3 times and I've been burned all 3 times. And the most recent time, I was just, I, I didn't spend any money, but I was ghosted by them in just trying to figure out like, how do I onboard to you and to your systems and stuff? And they just never responded. And I'm not going to follow up at this point. Like it's been 2 emails. If they're not going to respond to me when I'm not a customer, what makes me think they're going to respond when I am a customer? I feel like they're not just going to become more responsive. So yeah, it's frustrating. Here I am. For user temporary files. Yeah, yeah. Just how did the Godot executable get there is what I'm wondering. Like, did Rider do something? All right, so this crashes no matter what. I don't know why. Program crash with signal 11. What does that even mean? How do you debug handle crash? Program crash with signal 11. Like I'm not even getting a backtrace. It says that it's printing one, but then it doesn't print one. Or maybe it's because I need to go to like, no, I don't know where it would be. Yeah, it just doesn't print anything out. Need to compile the engine with debug symbols, then run it until you can reproduce the crash. Took this wrong comment here. If something you can reproduce, open an issue on GitHub with steps to reproduce, details about what system you're using. Oh, this sounds annoying. Hey, Jesta. Kind of want them to be fairly prompt about their responses. Yeah. 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 Is this what Grit Week is for? This is this is mostly what Grit Week is for. So I think we roll up our sleeves and apply some grit to this. We have a repro at least. Maybe we hold off on the Godot update yet. Sounds like a case, so I hope 4.7 fixes it. Well, we updated a 4.7 and it didn't fix it already. So probably it's something to do with my code somehow. I just don't know how. And it'd be nice to have the backtrace. Because all we see is a load address and then a warning and then an error. These are not causing it to crash. I don't know what load address means. But yeah, there's supposed to be a backtrace here. And we got one when I did this the first time around. And it was this. So what is failing here? Canvas texture invalidation callback. It's destructing texture storage. So actually maybe it does have to do with failure to clean up a texture. I just don't know where exactly. And I saved a plan on how to fix this, but I don't think it actually worked or I didn't do it or something. Oh, whoa, you could just paste like that? I realized that. I don't think I realized that. Huh, that's pretty cool to know about Mac. So if you're in a find dialog and you're in the wrong directory and you've got something on your clipboard, you can just paste it. Huh, nice. All right, quitting the game triggers a sig v. That's what Ryan was saying. During this, root cause detaches all 4 zones from the scene tree at startup. Then set current zone immediate reattaches 1. The current zone lives in the tree. The others are kept alive only by C# field references. They still own native RIDs. When the user quits, scene tree shuts down. The in-tree current zone is freed while servers are alive. Farming game.dispose calls queue-free on the detached ones, but it defers until the next idle frame. So can't I just change to free them immediately? Free synchronously. On quitting. Zone.free. Yeah. Finding things about Finder. Well, what I did know about is you can press Command-Shift-G to open up the path thing. So I thought you had to paste it in here. But you can paste without even being in that, which is pretty nice. So there's no real reason to ever do that again. In fact, I should probably write this down over here. Do I ever have it in like... No, yeah. Finder... navigating to a particular path. You could use Command-Shift-G to open the path selector, but if the path is on your clipboard, you can simply press Command-V to paste. You can also just start typing the path. Wait a second. I did not know that. Yeah. Neat. But yeah, Command V, I'm in that scenario very often. Like I'm over here in some folder, I go over to, let's say, this, and I write git cd, and I'm like, okay, now let's open that over here. And now like apparently I can just paste. So good to know. All right, well, I'm glad we had a backtrace here at one point because this looks like it'd be pretty easy to fix. But I think I tried this and I don't think it worked. So let's go try it again. We have a dispose function, right? Free if detached. We're already doing this. Oh, it's calling queue free. So we just change it to free and we're done. You can't just open dot it. You can, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't the full scenario that I had. Like sometimes I do use open dot, but sometimes I'm like, I already have 2 windows open in the right like tab configuration or something, or I'm doing this from VS Code. Actually, I guess that's a better example, maybe. Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I have to be in the scenario again. All right, so I just quit here, right? And now it doesn't crash? Wow, he fixed it. Oh, man. Yeah, this is a kind of dumb idea. for how I manage zones, all for the sake of animations or cutscenes, I mean. I still wonder how I should have done this because I don't like how I did it. But this should fix it. Why do we make another function for this and not just do this? Wait, what's going on here? How many times do I have to change this? Why isn't it reformatting this? My God, I am so annoyed by this. Action on save. It's not calling anything right now. But this is what's supposed to be dictated by this. Format. Did it get deleted? Did all my settings get deleted? Oh, I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I wanted to save. Wait, how do I do this? Configure autosave options. No, it's not there. Where is this? Should be actions on save. I wanted to run a particular profile, but only when you do any save. And there's only this stuff, and there's only this on full save. Or on explicit save, I mean. Yeah, I'm not sure how you're supposed to configure that. Did I write this down? No. Profile? Here it is. Make a custom code cleanup profile. Oh, code cleanup is what you're supposed to go to. Code cleanup. Here it is. And then how do you get this to run, though? Set that profile as a default silent cleanup profile in the same dialog. Where is that button? Well, I'm pointing at that button. I don't see that here. It's here. So it's already the default then. But it's not working. Do I need to do something else? Bind a key to silent reformat and cleanup. This will format the whole file unless you have a selection. Oh, so I now need my key map to have silent cleanup and whatever, this. And I don't have a shortcut for that. I'm a little annoyed by that. All right, let's go try to run that. Silent. Yeah, this. Does this fix it? It does. Expression is always true. Just remove it. We can't queue the free here since we're likely quitting and don't want it to crash on quit. So many issues this. Yeah, I thought I had this working a while ago. I don't know what I'm even, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I could have sworn if I had this like tabbed way back to here and I just press save, I think it used to fix it and now it doesn't. I have to press Alt save. Well, I guess I need to make a change and then press Alt save. Wait, even that doesn't do it now. Because I didn't. Oh, because I didn't check this. Why is this not working? There it goes. Okay, that fixed it. Yeah, I want that to just run on regular save. Maybe I rebound a key here? Because I could probably fix this by just going and figuring out what is this bound to. This is save document. I guess I never wanted to save document. Just remove that. I wanted to do the silent reformat and clean up. Wait, but that doesn't save the document, does it? All right, whatever. I'm just going to do this anyway. Yeah, whatever. Remove the rest of them. All right, so now if I tab this back and I hit save, yeah, it fixes it. I just use Command S for this. But now the document's not actually saved, or is it? I don't know. I guess we could find out by just opening the same thing up over here. VS Code, open it off to the side, open this off to the other side. So now we go change this, and if I hit Command S, it didn't update over here yet. If I navigate away, it's going to force it to update. So even if I click this, it's going to update, right? I think VS Code just doesn't update automatically. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It did update in VS Code. So what I want to have happen, and I guess I could do this on a loop here. I could do like sleep 5 and what do I do? I gotta be in the right folder for this. Copy the path of this. Okay, so sleep 5 and cat this file. And then let's make a change at the bottom so that we can see. So I'm gonna delete this, I guess. Now I run this. I press Command S, and now it's gonna print out. Yeah, so it does not save when I do this. When you click away from this, it saves. So now if I cat the file, it has the curly brace in the right spot. Hey, Banana. Won't show file changes until that's focused again. That's not true. Because you could see it changing even when I modified something directly in here. So like VS Code does not have the focus, right? It's all over here. If I delete this line, you can see it just updated VS Code on the side, and I've never changed focus. So yeah, it's not that. But anyway, this is fine. So yeah, this doesn't actually save. Note, I use Command S for this. This does not save, but I have it set. I have Rider set to save whenever it loses the focus, or whenever the focus changes. I think it's to a different tab. So yeah, this is good enough. This is probably going to mess me up in the future, but yeah. Or maybe what I should have done, it doesn't matter. All right, but that was a sidetrack. I think we fixed the crash that we had, right? Yeah, I think we fixed the crash. So I want to probably use the NuGgodot. Why did I say I wanted to use the NuGgodot? And why didn't we get a stack trace for that? That's concerning. Update Godot to bask in the glory of custom maximum size. Yeah, we don't have a need for it now. But once we do, oh boy. Yeah, I just don't know if now is the time to do this. But it's not that far down on our list, right? I probably should just do this now. Yeah, custom maximum size is now a thing. And they mentioned it in here. Yeah, here it is. Hey, Deepar. Do you comp with debug? Hey, Patrick. What do you mean exactly? Do I comp with debug? I'm so mad / happy. I know. I know. Also, this is probably a very understated improvement. Every once in a while in current Godot, this is the old one, right? Yeah, this is the old one. So you're dragging something around and it's really hard to get it to be in the right tab level. Like let's say I want this to be right there, but at the same level as quit button. I don't think it's possible. I think you have to drag it above quit button and then drag it below quit button. So you have to do it in 2 steps. Apparently this is now fixed. So let's go try it. So if I want to drag this up here now. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. That is really nice. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Compiling with debug, get backtrace. Oh, compiling. Yes, I was. Yeah, I don't know. Let's turn this off for a second. We'll see. I'll hit the debug button here. Invalid token. Oh, did I keep the extra token at the bottom? What? Something is messing up. Some other part of this file must have changed. But what? Here? There we go. All right, so now we debug. Yeah, I think now is probably a pretty good time to update TODO. Exited before any CLR is loaded in that process. What? What? Let's try this again. Invalid project path. Oh God, did it take in? I think I reloaded the project. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. What happened here? Yeah, the working directory changed. Why? Something weird is going on there. Yeah, something very weird. And now it works. And I quit. Oh, wait. No, we didn't get it. Yeah, it's strange. I need the backtrace to print, but it's not going to print. And this doesn't happen from Godot for some reason. Godot must be doing something different here. Because I don't get a backtrace here either. But there, you can see it quit unexpectedly. Why is this happening? And how do we see that information? Man, I don't see anything special here. I don't know why all of a sudden, though, this would happen. No, whatever. We have a solution for it now. I guess if we ever run into this in the future, we'll have to figure out why it's not printing out. So let's go back to our game change, search for free, comment this back, and then run it. So now everything should be totally fine. No crash, no rids leaked. Oh, there is still something leaked. Wait, what? Dumping backtrace. Oh no. This is because I'm not actually saving the file now. So when I click the debug button, it's still running on the old code. No, it's not that. Well, maybe it is that. I don't know. If I force a save and then click run. No, it's still not happening. What's going on? Change Windows and come back? It's possible that this is just buggy code. But I thought it was that it hadn't saved. I tested this a bunch of times, right? Oh, I don't want any of this change to be in here. Yeah, revert this whole thing. Disk. Yeah, I don't know what's happening now. Why is this still crashing? Yeah, strange. I'm gonna set save back to Command S. Where is that? Like I'm sure this has the same file contents now. Yeah, it does. Is something going wrong with what I'm trying to run? Well, it's using the wrong Godot again. It keeps trying to default to a different location. It just keeps changing everything that I'm doing here. It's like it's overriding this for some reason. And then it changes the working directory when I do that. So I set it back to this. And now we try running this and maybe everything will be fine. No, it's still crashing. Well, let's see if this code is running. Oops. It should be trying to free this. Can we even debug it? Yeah, we can. All right, so we get into here. Yeah, we are calling free on this stuff. And yep, nice. Well, I thought this was fixed somehow. I don't know how I came to that conclusion if it's not actually fixed. How do we get the backtrace? There is no backtrace information on game crash. Engine crashes without leaving a log. Did it go to my logs folder somewhere? I'm not even totally sure where that would be. Maybe I typed this and go back to stuck in a broken tutorial. Whoops. Whoops. Doesn't exist? What? Whoops. Just Godot? Is there something in here? Shouldn't there be logs somewhere? There are a ton of logs. Is one of these for stuck in a... Yep, there it is. And these are from today? Yeah, they are. Let's just open all of them. There's nothing in any of them. Oh, no. And that's from, yeah, like 2 minutes ago. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, how about this? Let's start with just updating Godot. How about that? So this whole Blava code, let's copy out of here. What am I making? I'm making a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Welcome in, Luminor. Yeah. So let's go get rid of this for a sec. And I guess this. I want to just have the Godot update here, which then if I'm going to do this, I should probably just put this in the correct location at this point. Which means quitting out of everything over here. And then probably removing this too. There we go. All right, so now we go into applications and delete the existing Godot version that I have. And then copy this over, but without the number in its name. So I guess delete this. This is from February. And this is named. I guess let's delete both of these. Cool. Then just rename this to Godot Mono. Put this in applications. All right. So now I want to launch that. Why is this here? This doesn't even exist, does it? Oh, it does. Oh, I had a lot of those. Hey, TMI. Okay, so let's launch this. That means that if I try to launch Skeleteller now, it's going to keep trying to update the project. So at some point, I'll probably need to download 4.6. Yeah, well, whatever. So if I launch the game, we should be in the title screen. Everything should probably be fine. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, you have two different ones on your machine. Yeah. I'm probably going to need that. All right, so this is fine except for that I don't want to put the spaces in. There we go. Wait, what? Move the spaces over to here. There's no winning, is there? Oh well, whatever. And that's good. This is the old project, which we don't need. All right, so this is gonna be update Godot to 4.7 something, 4.7 beta 4, 4.7 beta 4. Yeah. Let me just make certain that's what we're at. Yeah. This wasn't really for any particular reason right now. I just had it on my to-do list from back when I found out about what's the thing called? Custom maximum size. There are a lot of small editor improvements though that we should be able to benefit from immediately. All right, now I just gotta fix the spacing on this. There. All right. Cool. Hey, Matt. How'd your weekend go? All right, so I got to tell the game team I updated to Godot 4.7 beta 4. We now have custom maximum size. Not that we need it yet. Yeah, I had a good weekend. I think it was pretty nice. Yeah. Okay, so still haven't actually fixed the crash. Let's go take a look at that again. But now we won't be fighting everything else that we have here. No, wait, no. I never did this. This is good. This is good. This is not good. This now needs to be ... game. And now I don't think there are going to be problems. So I should be able to run this. Yeah, good. Now we go change some of this stuff. Farming game before sidekick. Go change the farming game itself where we get free if detached. This is going to change into this code. I don't actually want to run that yet. I want to make sure the crash is there. So I just go to quit. It crashes. Yep. We don't have the backtrace information. I still don't know why. And we just change this to free. And I think the crash will still happen. And I need to find out why that's happening. It's probably an ordering thing. Like, oh man, if that is the case, this is going to be really annoying. Yeah, it's going to be really annoying. Wait. Yeah, so quit is called. What does it say that this does? Do we have a chance to clean anything up? Quits the application at the end of the current iteration with a given exit code. So I think what we need to do is find the farming game and tell it to clean up here, which we don't even have. Oh, man. Yeah, this idea of we could have each sub game have an we're about to quit kind of signal. And then that's where we'd free these scenes. That could work. I filed an issue a long time ago in Godot about using free directly, and they said we probably shouldn't even expose this. Was it here? No. Yeah, here it was. Yeah, and one of the responses was, where is it? Yeah, remove API access to free. Make it internal only. There's no real world scenario where a game or application designer using it would need direct free. In which case we wouldn't be able to do this. So if I'm gonna get this to work, I may need to tell the current sub game that we're quitting. It should get a notification about it though. However, then I would call free. Maybe we just wait a few frames before actually quitting so that there's time to clean up. You know what? I kind of want to try that. Let's go try that out. Nothing would tell this thing to dispose though. So what I got to do is, all right, we're going to make a bunch of changes right now. We have a partial class sub game. We want, I guess this has dispose. So I guess we could just queue free the current sub game and it would just naturally work. Hey Maya, complete first year, summer term have started, 2 months back at home. What are you going to do in your time off on your summer vacation? Got any plans? All right, so how are we going to do this? We get the current sub game node. I think we always do this by get first child. Yeah. Current game, queue free. All right, this is just me testing to see if this is even going to work. And then this dot call next frame. All right. Let's try that and just see what happens. That does not help, but I don't know for sure if this is getting called in the right order. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here and I want it on the inside of this. Yeah, there we go, but not on this one. That's kind of cool. Okay. So farming game, we get to free of detached. Let's put a breakpoint there too. Now let's debug this. So all we do is go to quit. So first we call into queue free, then I hit the plus button. Yeah, then we're getting into this. So this is freeing. And then on the same frame, presumably. And there's some way to figure this out, right? Engine.frame count. Get frames drawn. What does this return? 50. So now we click the play button again. And we get to here. And now it is still 50. So yeah, this is on the same frame. So we probably want to call after 2 frames and just do queue free. Not as planned. Picked up a professor's project. Looking forward to that and learning low-level fundamentals. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think there's sort of pros and cons of treating it as a vacation. Like at some point, a lot of people just stop having summer vacations, at least in the US, because like your work isn't going to give you that time off unless it's natural for the schedule, like being a teacher. So it's like enjoy it while you can, but at the same time, it's like you had momentum from your studies, so maybe somewhat of a break and somewhat of a productive time. I don't know. I just talked to someone yesterday who is starting their job and just moved here to Washington, and they were saying like, I wish I'd just taken more time off, but there wasn't really the option. I'm like, I know it's like you train yourself for years and years to get a summer vacation, and you just don't have one day. So I don't think this has to do with calling free anymore. I think there's some other issue here that's going on, and I don't know what it is exactly. I almost wonder, what if we deleted all the other zones? Like, is this even the issue? Let's try setting this to queue free. Let's try changing this to be on a next frame. And then just try this again. How did I spend my summer after 1 year in a college? I remember, I think the first year I did not have like a tech specific internship. I don't know how I spent that year. But I think all subsequent years I had an internship. So I didn't really get a proper summer off again after the first year. I don't think I had something in that first year. It doesn't crash now. Oh man. No, it still crashes. Okay, something weird is going on. There's some race condition. Like if I put a breakpoint here and I do the exact same thing I just did, just by having the breakpoint, we've changed the timings enough. Now I hit play, 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 whatever, and now it's done. Oh, it still crashed. All right. Maybe this isn't caused by this. I do need to figure out why we're not getting the backtrace in here, though. What could this be? Could it be printing somewhere else? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I don't have any other ideas. Well, this is why we do this. All right, so when I quit the game, when I launch the game right now with my changes and just immediately quit from the pause menu, I see this in the output. I'm gonna pause the ads running. What time is it? 11:14. Okay. Why is there no actual backtrace? Yeah, it says dumping the backtrace and then just doesn't. How often do you have to analyze the memory stack? I guess it depends on what you mean exactly. Like, I'm not going down to the level of figuring out what's in what register in assembly. I will examine a call stack to see if it's what I expect. I will examine variables in memory. And in a case like this where it's crashing, I mean, I'll do enough to figure out what the crash is. But yeah, I'm not even getting the backtrace, which was weird to me. Like, this was happening even on the prior version of Godot, so it's not a new thing. Well, it could be a regression in Godot. And it could be that there's some permission missing on the process or who knows what. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this isn't printing. And without that, it's hard to tell what to do. Although I do have, when this did print, here's what it had. Oh my God, it's so hard to select this. Here's what it had on it before. So it does suggest that there's something that needs to be freed that isn't being freed. But attempting to free everything still isn't working. Are we freeing? Yeah, the current zone will get freed by the parent being Q freed. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. What's causing this? There are fresh Mac OS diagnostic reports from the same launch window, so the operating system did capture more than Godot printed. Reading the newest report. Godot's own frames are present only as offsets. Oh, beta app bundle is stripped of most native symbols. What version was I on before this? That should have been in the CS proj file. It should actually still be over here. CS proj here. We're at 4.6.1. There was no beta in here. Huh. Strange. Yeah, strange. There are a lot of tasks left on this list, but we have the rest of this week to do them. Today's been going pretty well so far. We've gotten a lot done. I'd love to figure this thing out. And it is only with the farming game. And we do something specific with the farming game where we have these zones that, wait, they're in the scene tree. What am I talking about? This shouldn't even need to be freed explicitly. Did I ever detach them? This doesn't make any sense. It's only if the zone's parent is null. When do we detach these? I don't think I ever meant for that to happen. Huh, let me go take a look at that. Init detaches all 4 zones from the scene tree at startup. No, we do remove them. Why did I do this? And it means I must add them back in at some point, right? Yep. That seems like a mistake, especially if they're all paused. Process mode. Set current zone. Hmm. Yeah, strange. Did I write a comment in here? Contains zones just so that their ready functions run, but they're removed from the scene tree when the farming game initializes. Okay, well, at least I wrote a comment for it. It's failing partway through reporting the crash. Oh man. macOS crash handler source. They have any issue open on this? Current quit path reaches native termination through there. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, let me go look at this again. We go through every zone in all zones. These are what? Directly connected here? Yeah. And we only have the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And that makes sense, right? Farm zone, your house, the town and community center. Yeah, that's all good. So then when we dispose of this thing, we go through all zones again and then free if it's detached. Yeah, this sounds correct to me. It can't be null. It's got to be valid, and it can't have a parent. And then we try freeing it. What a shame. Hey, let's. Yeah, Magnus just pasted in both of the answers to those questions. But yeah, this is Ryder. And yeah, the why do I prefer it over VS Code is in the second answer there. I'm currently stuck on a problem that I can't figure out why this is crashing. We could try some other things. It doesn't crash from the platformer, so we know it's coming from this. And yeah, it's too bad that we can't get any other information here. Do I have any changes that would make this be problematic? This could cause some issues. Yeah, we could just put this back to what it was. And I can put this here if I want it for later, but I don't know if I do. Anything else? Just flow control flags changing this. Yeah, otherwise nothing. Must be a common question. Oh, I have tons of commands. Because I do get asked things quite a lot. If you ever are curious, by the way, you can just go to this website, a.bot.land, and type in things like, keyboard or mouse or computer or whatever. There's tons and tons of things. You just scroll down on the page and find a bunch. Also, feel free to not do any of that and just ask me the questions. I'm happy to just share the commands. All right, so it didn't crash there. So it doesn't crash every time. So there's some race condition controlling this. And yeah, I wonder if it's like time until quitting. Should I give it even more time to do things? See, it crashes consistently if I do that. I am kind of curious if I just waited like 7 frames. Call after tons of frames. Yeah, let's just wait for a bunch of these and just see what happens. Like, is this the problem? Call after tons of frames. There we go. So that's what's going to actually call quit. The node will have been freed at that point. Invalid token. No, it's still happening. All right. Yeah, without the backtrace information, I'm just assuming this is the same crash that I already encountered. But maybe that assumption is a bad assumption. If it is the same crash, this should have been the fix for it. And it's clearly not working. We could try a different Godot build. I don't think it's going to help. Eventually intend on making this game available on Steam. Yeah, yeah. So this is in a slightly buried command here, but in the new game FAQ. Oh, what happened with this? It's all got like tabbed in. Oh, I guess that's how it looks. Yeah, where will it launch? Desktop platforms, i.e. Steam. Do I not have Steam written in this document anywhere else? No, I guess not. Yeah, launching on consoles would be pretty crazy. Okay, well, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do. The new problem is that we're not even getting the backtrace. So I'm just assuming this is the same issue as before. It may be a slightly different crash. We have no way of knowing. I need to be able to know first. And this makes it sound like it's trying to print out a crash and it's failing. So I guess we go follow what we found here. Compile the engine with debug symbols equals yes. Yeah, because that's what we do. I like the idea to try an older version. I did try 4.6. I didn't try anything older than that. But yeah, let's just go try building it from scratch, I guess. So where do we have this? Here, maybe? Yeah, so git branch. Well, first, I guess let's start with status. Make sure we don't have any changes. Detach. Okay, so let's switch to main. It's called master here. And while that's loading, let's go into their branches and figure out which one would control the current thing. It's probably just master because I don't see a 4.7 branch. Yeah, it's probably a master. So now we got to build this from scratch. I've got some instructions on how to do this. Search for scones, I guess. Building for Mac OS. All right, clone the repo. Trying to build a specific version of the engine. Do git tag -l grep. Then git checkout. Yeah, they don't have a 4.7. All right, get the Vulkan SDK. I probably have this stuff. We have scones already. Now we just run this. I file an issue about this one? Oh, so this is not needed? What did I need to do? You're building templates without .NET. Add module mono enabled. Module mono enabled. Yeah, there we go. Comes from these instructions. These instructions being, yeah, also this issue. Or this issue that I stupidly filed. Stupidly. That was stupid of me. All right, so this warning isn't needed anymore. Are there many opportunities in game dev in the job market? I'm not plugged into the job market for game dev, so I don't know for sure. I think that as an industry, I think game dev is kind of tough. I think the pay is generally lower than general tech since there's a lot more passion for game dev. There are a lot of people looking for game dev jobs. I think staying at a studio for a while is also a challenge. There have been a lot of layoffs in tech and in game dev. One of the things I've been thinking about is if I had, let's say, like 10 employees I probably wouldn't just make games I want to make. I'd probably have to start thinking about like, well, how do I pay 10 employees? Like what games will allow me to do that? I think it would drastically change the equation. The irony, I would just leave that as is. Yeah. All right. Did I actually run this? I did. Cool. Yeah, this took about 2 minutes to run, only built for ARM. So produce this, but it lacks glue. So now get the glue to exist. Just build WoW. Pays 10 employees. Yeah. I wonder how much money a game like WoW is still pulling in, or like League of Legends. There might be some reports somewhere about those sorts of things. But yeah, it's one thing to just think, how do I pay 10 employees for a year? But those games are like, we've paid tens or hundreds of employees for decades, right? Currently a platform engineer, want to be a game dev since I was a kid. Yeah, I guess it should stay as a passion thing. I would recommend it staying as a passion thing, unless you find a job that's like your dream job in game dev. And even then, like, what kind of job security do you have? I was reading something about like the GTA 6 developers are trying to unionize. I think if there were more dev unions, maybe things would be a little different, but I don't know how different. The nice thing about doing it as a passion is that you can control every part of it that you want. The bad thing about doing it as a passion is that unless you get a bunch of funds, you probably can't pursue the same scope that you might want to have pursued. Like, you probably won't make GTA 6 on your own. I don't think people can do that. Hey, man, banana. Industry's rough. Constantly seeing old coworkers getting laid off. I'm out of work myself. Were you in game dev? I'm sorry to hear about that. Company I work for hasn't had a new client for 2 years, just older clients. And at the end of the year, the remaining six of us will not have something. Oh man, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the industry is seeing some disruption. All right, so this generated this. Build the managed libraries. We got to be able to run the game from this at the end of all of this. Hopefully we can. Also, I got to get lunch pretty soon. So I don't know if we'll get done with this before my lunch. If you get an error like this, the same parameter, maybe you need to delete your fallback folder. All right, hopefully this is just fine. At this point, you should be able to run this and develop your game. Okay. Well, that sounds easy. Wow, look at that. All right, so now we launch the game. Is it working? Yes. Could not resolve SDK. Exactly one of the probing messages below indicates why we couldn't resolve it. I got a message about this, right? And I wrote about this. Man, if you get a build error about Godot SDK, read on for how to fix it. Thanks, past me. All right, so to export using this custom built version, you need to build export templates. I don't think we need that. You should now have this and this, run these commands. Now if you try to export from Godot, it'll tell you the path. I think at the build error, this cannot be found. This means we need to rerun build assemblies with a local NuGet source. The SDK cannot be found. Is that what's printing out here? Could not resolve SDK. Okay, so I should probably, whatever, reload. I don't care. I just want to copy this message. Oh, wait. Oh, here it is. This is the same as this one, right? The SDK, this specified could not be found. The specified could not be found. Yeah, yeah, great. Okay. All right, so do this. Make dir, whatever. I should already have this, right? ls that. Yep, good. Okay, so now do this. Add source name. And we got to run it from here. Did that just terminate Godot? It did not. Echo hi. Okay, good. Name specified has already been added to the list. Sounds good. And then run this. These steps are pretty quick. Don't require running any other step. You can just click the build button in Godot as soon as build assemblies is done. Oh, really? Okay, I didn't even need to close that apparently. Kind of expected they'll have to trim the workforce down. Yeah, yeah. The games, yeah, just games are tough. Open the terminal for the first time in August 2025. Started learning tech from scratch. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, look, with that get up and go, maybe you would be able to land a game dev job you like and stick with it or just pivot to something else. I mean, I don't want to sound like a naysayer and say definitely don't go into game dev. I think it's a little bit risky is all. But obviously there are lots of game devs out there, so if it works for them, it could work for anyone who's listening to me say this right now. Well, it looks like it's taking longer than it used to. Is it going to launch? It launched. Is it going to repro the bug? This wasn't guaranteed to repro before, so I'll try this another few times. But it should crash at some point. If it doesn't crash, then I don't know what. Come on, really? I built from scratch and now it doesn't crash. All right, I'm baffled. I guess let's try launching it the way that Ryder is launching it. So like this. What is this doing? Something weird is going on with Godot. Like it seems to just pick whatever the last Godot executable that ran, Ryder just fills it in with that. So if I reload from here and I click the play button, I think it's going to change the profile in Ryder. And I think that's what use Ryder is doing, and it's just not obvious that that's what it's doing. Did this change? Do I have to edit it? Whoops, I do not want to delete it. Wow. It does. Wow. Okay, that's tricky. That's really tricky. It, like I said, it probably tells you that it does that, but it's just not super obvious. Do I have a Godot note in here? If you have use Ryder enabled in for the Ryder plugin, the Ryder plugin exposes this toggle, then Ryder will automatically update your run configuration to use whichever version of. Oh, that's why it ended up in the private folder, because when you launch something from downloads, I think Mac OS does some sandboxing. Oh man, I remember hearing about this years ago. Mac OS run app from downloads folder. There's something certain that happens here. I don't remember. Yeah, maybe if I type sandbox. All right, here it is. To minimize risk to user data, system restricts your app's file system access to just its container. The container does include a number of symbolic links that result in common user folders. This might not be exactly it. I don't know. Anyway, it's something like that's going on. This is, yeah, usually what you want so that you don't need to keep updating the path to the Godot executable. But if you're randomly testing on a different version, this can be unexpected. Fix it by simply launching your game from the correct version of Godot, and then turning off use Ryder at the upper right. Yeah, this is really tricky. Applications of package. Yeah. I mean the executable within the package. The package still contains a binary for running on your system. All right. So what I just come to the conclusion of that I want to run this the same way that this runs. So I want to do path dot game whatever and just run from the working directory that we have. Which means I should just be able to take this, type in game, change that for the path, and then run this on top of the executable that we have. What version am I running right now? Is this, I have no idea. It says beta 4, but it might be the debug version that I built. So I don't know. Let's just delete that. All right. So now this should be closed, right? Yep. So now let's try running this again, but like so. And this should launch my game, which will then crash when I quit. Oh man, okay, it does crash, but it still doesn't print the stack trace. I built this from scratch. Oh no. Hey Cyber, this might be a bit negative, but when I look at what people are posting on Itch or Discord, a lot of indie devs aren't honest with themselves about whether their work is high enough quality to really support them financially long term. I mean, that could be true, but I think that when you set out to make a game, like people have different goals, and a goal could be to learn, to have fun, it could be to make money. If you assume that they're in to make money camp, like this one, and they were really just trying to learn, then yeah, it might look like their game sucks or that they're never going to make money, but that might not have ever been their goal. And if their goal is to make money, eventually they will validate it with a market by launching on like Steam or on Itch or something. And yeah, if they make like 20 bucks, then turns out that was terrible. So yeah, but I think a lot of people are making games just kind of for fun or to learn. I do think that it's sort of like buying a lottery ticket. Like probably no one's buying a lottery ticket and they're saying like, yeah, it's just to have fun, and they 100% mean it. There's probably like, maybe 99% to have fun and like 1%, but what if? I think this happens with game dev too. I think a lot of people start with the goal to have fun. Then they're making the game, they, share it with some friends. And then they kind of start thinking like, yeah, but what if this could make money? What if I did make a product out of this? I think these sorts of games are not guaranteed to be successes. I mean, nothing's guaranteed to be a success, but this is less likely to be successful than if you had it planned to be a business from the beginning. So there are some like runaway successes of games. I don't know how Balatro is made exactly, but like clearly it's made a ton of money. It's going to be acquired by another company for like 150 million. So yeah, but like, did they start out saying I'm going to make $100 million game? Probably not. Probably most game devs don't. So yeah, if you're looking at games in general and saying like, wow, the quality is pretty bad, I think that's probably true. I think this happens with any oversaturated market. So you look at Twitch streams. If you were to if there was some like website out there where you could just say load a random Twitch stream, you would probably hate 99% of the results. Like it's going to be some like really sucky stream where they don't even have the game in focus. Their audio is garbled. They're whatever. Like they're not paying attention to chat. Any issue you could think of, like you're going to find that. And you're going to mostly find that. You're probably not going to find, because there are just so many Twitch streams out there that like it's oversaturated and anyone can start one. It's kind of the same with game dev. All right, well, this was kind of a waste of time. I still cannot get the backtrace out of here. And I don't know what to do at this point. Run with -- verbose for details. Does this help at all? Oh, that's pretty interesting. Oh, that's pretty interesting. On visibility change. How is this a string name that exists though? That can't be in my code. It still doesn't print the backtrace. C# script reference count 0. Interesting. Action markup handler. That's also interesting, because that comes from Yarn Spinner. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Veroni, and hey, Tony Johnson. It's also okay because you don't have any expectations unless you're lying to yourself. No, but I think people are frequently lying to themselves. Whoops. And I think this is a really strong thing. Like when people start a Twitch stream, like, yeah, let's say you started streaming on Twitch. I think in the back of your head, you have to imagine, what if I become popular? Like it's just it's hard to steer away from this. It's that lottery ticket thing that I was talking about. And I think a lot of streamers say like, "Oh, I'm just doing this for fun." But like, if you funneled 1,000 viewers into their stream, they probably wouldn't be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I'm not having fun anymore." Like, just send those viewers away. They'd probably be like, "Oh, awesome! Now I want 2,000 viewers." And I think it's just kind of human nature to naturally fall into a rat race and just numbers must go up kind of thing. So yeah, I think a lot of people are probably lying to themselves, and I think this is just the life path. It's like a lesson that you have to learn. You make a game for fun and then you release it and then it doesn't make the money you want. And you're like, well, I guess it wasn't really for fun. And you either introspect and come to that conclusion or you live with cognitive dissonance. Hey, Moonrido. I just want to share the fact that I'm developing a JRPG. So the creation of text bubbles, and for it to work properly, I end up refactoring the entire battle system of characters there. Yeah, yeah. Those sorts of rabbit holes are why I have the problem A GIF here. I'll just load this on screen for those who haven't seen this. Oh, I'm logged in as the wrong person on YouTube, apparently. And this apparently doesn't work either. But yeah, a lot of you have probably seen this already. But this whole, hey, you go to fix one problem and two other problems pop up. And yeah, you're like 7 problems away from your original thing by that point. That's how I started making games. Sick of the luck and overly high complexity of TFT. Thought a little indie game could solve both issues. Yeah, like I like the inspiration can come from anywhere. It could come from, hey, I was frustrated with another product, or I thought I could do it better, or I just want to see this game exist on the market, or some other game was discontinued. Is Godot using binary or AVL search trees to store? You should look at the GitHub repo to answer this question, because this is the kind of question that very likely does not matter whatsoever. So if you care to that level, you should go find out for yourself. Because like truly think, why did you ask this question? It's probably because you heard about something in one of your courses and you want to like find out, is this being used in real life somewhere? But like, if you are curious at that level, you should definitely seek out the answer yourself. I love this scene from Breaking Bad. Did you see the extras thing from after Breaking Bad was done, where he wakes up and he was in a dream from Malcolm in the Middle? Barely gets any views. He's not really bothered because his goal is to take his thoughts out. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so where do I stand with this? There's one hint here that maybe something is wrong. And it's this resource still in use action markup handler. It's this thing. This is a partial class. For it to still be in use means we're not disposing the thing that's referencing it, which is, I guess, a bunch of different things. Did they really not delete these? This is tricky. I also don't know for sure this is causing the crash. I guess we could find out though by just deleting. Oh man. All right, how are we gonna do this? Oh. Oh, that was weird. Okay. We could maybe find out by deleting the dialogue runner altogether. This is going to cause a lot of other issues. But if it doesn't crash anymore, then I guess we have our answer, right? So I'm going to try deleting this. Yarn spinner canvas layer. Everything's going to break. Yeah, we just turn this off. Oh man, yeah, everything's going to break. Oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And then dialogue runner won't exist. So we delete this. And then we try running, it's probably going to fail. You stop posting and close the channel. Yeah, and I think I think it's good. I've kind of always said this, when you're starting a new endeavor, try to figure out what your real goals are. And I think it's totally fine if your goal is become the richest person in the world or something. Like whatever. If that's your goal, that's your goal. I'm not going to argue with it. But your path to reaching that might be wrong, and you can like adjust based on what your goal is. Because yeah, your goal might be, if you're starting a Twitch stream, like, okay, I do want to explore. It would be nice to make some money on this eventually, or like I want to do this or this or this. And then that lets you figure out the path to that goal. All right, so options presenter, this doesn't exist anymore. We don't want this. Yeah, I got to turn off all the start dialogue stuff. It should just do nothing. Because I want to see if this still crashes when I take out yarn spinner. Because if so, that would help me. Okay, good, nice. Now, does it crash? It doesn't? Excuse me? Well, that's news. Wow. So it's yarn spinner causing a problem, or maybe me not cleaning up yarn spinner correctly. Wow, hey Tim Bears. Okay, so I tried building from scratch, but I still didn't get a backtrace. Then I specified dash dash verbose and saw this line. Where'd the line go? Here. So I took out all of the yarn spinner stuff and the crash went away. So where I left off is investigate exactly why this is happening and how to fix it. This is gonna be frustrating. How's game dev going? It's going pretty well. We're still doing what I was calling stabilization mode, which was going to be a fortnight of not really tech debt tasks, but like tech debt-esque tasks. So we tackled most of localization stuff last week. That went well. We're now moving on. And I've been doing some kind of random stuff today. And now there's a crash on quitting the game. And I just could not figure out what's causing it. And we're slowly making progress. So this is our typical, murder mystery scenario where we got to find out who done it. Also, by the way, random thing about who done it. So I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I don't even know what season I'm on, like season 8 or 9 or something like that. And there's a line where Captain Holt is talking about Jake Peralta. He says something like, he just kept talking about this man, Wario, or something like that. God, this just cracked me up. And I'm not going to explain any of the humor behind this. If anyone's watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine and remembers that line, it's just funny. But the reason this came up now is because the whodunit thing, that was also a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference. Captain Holt's so funny. Oh my God, he's my favorite character on that show. I think the actor just did such an incredible job. Yeah. Glad yours been going well. Yeah, how's your game dev been going, Tim Bears? Disabled subs for the love of the game. Wait, are you talking about me? Because there's a winky face there. I did disable subs at one point, but that was because I wasn't streaming anymore. Hey, Kyle, how am I doing? I'm doing well. Really, in general, things are going pretty great, both with the work stuff that I do on stream and just kind of outside of work stuff. I've been productive. I've been, pretty happy. I'm still excited to work on this game. In fact, I'm kind of counting down the days. 1 week from today, we'll start the next sub game. And it'll be a top-down shooter. And there's just a lot to like explore and discover and have fun with while doing that. So I think that'll be neat. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm hoping that by August 1st, we'll have the next 3 sub games done. That might be a bit aggressive. I'm not sure. It all depends on how these go. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to work on those again. Working on some tangent projects. I'm glad to hear it. That things are going well at least. Advice gave of don't leave all the boring stuff until the end has been helping me lately. Been adding accessibility options to my game over the past week. Yeah, I will say I think there is like pros and cons of doing this. And the obvious con is if you don't ever release your game, then you did boring stuff for nothing. So if you're pretty confident you're going to release a game, then yeah, I think it's worth doing this. So it's like saving it till the end is mind numbing. So maybe it's like save it until you know for sure you're making this game. And this is kind of true with any sort of like polish or features. We did a lot in Skeleseller that we ended up scrapping. Like imagine if we made a feature that was unfun and then like fully polished a UI for it. and then we delete the feature. It's like, well, the UI is probably not going to be usable anymore. So we scrap quite a lot. So yeah, I think that's a big con. So yeah, if you're good with making your game, then doing some of the boring stuff ahead of time is nice. And I do want to work in like weekly polish days so that I'm not doing a bunch of polish toward the end. I don't know how to apply this stuff to marketing exactly because a lot of my marketing for Skeleseller was influencer outreach. I think what I'm going to start doing is, and I think this is going to rub me the wrong way incredibly, but I think I'm going to just start having copy paste emails. I spent like 7 minutes per person that I emailed because I wasn't copy pasting emails, and it took forever, and it's just so boring. It's so boring. It's yeah, it's so bad. And there were so many times when I just felt like I was going nuts. It's like, why am I doing this? Why do I have to do this? How do I make this better or faster? And yeah, I think I just gotta copy paste emails. All right. Anyway, I need food. It is 11:54 a.m. We've been streaming for almost 4 hours, so I'm gonna go take lunch, and then I'll be back around 1 p.m. probably. And my main goal for the afternoon is probably gonna be figure out this crash. I don't think it's gonna take all afternoon though, so then we'll just move on to whatever else we can do. But yeah, we're making good progress. Pretty happy with this. I think it was a really good idea to do this stabilization mode. So thank you all for watching. I don't typically raid out at lunchtime, so I'm just gonna end the stream. But I'll be back in about an hour. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. See ya.